and welcome back everyone here to UGL semifinals. My name is Half Asian Dad. Alongside me tonight, returning from the depths of the COVID shot, is Listuya here. And how are you feeling this week?
I'm doing a lot better, and man, I'm excited to actually get into the semifinals for UGL. And that even though I missed last week, I'm sure this week's going to make up more than enough for it. So
Yeah, we've got ourselves quite the matchup here. We've actually got two of our university teams participating in this one. We've got ourselves Coog Esports against Yale Esports here. And, this is going to be an interesting one with CLOL finals currently going on, of course, the LCS stream and everything. We're here having a little bit of a smaller matchup. Nonetheless, still going to be two schools who've got a lot of talent behind them going at it here.
yeah, hey, every school is getting built up. A lot of the universities you see in CLOL have actually they brought their esports program like just about right out of the gate. Like some of them are a bit fresher than others, but every school is starting to pop up somewhere, and especially with bigger schools like two of the teams that we're going to be watching tonight, thankfully, there's a lot of players. Like, even though you're not one of the Diamond Masters, Grandmasters, and Plus players that are getting on like the big CLOL teams, like there's still enough students there that it's like, hey, no, I want to play someone seriously. I want to compete, and for them to be able to represent their schools is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, and the main thing is that these two teams are able to feature, their A squad, and they're able to put their B squad, their C squad, even down to the farther down. They've got such large player bases at their school that they can bring the likes of these teams into UGL just to give some other students some opportunities to participate. And we're going to see both of these teams who did finish first in their groups respectively going at it to see who will move on to those UGL finals next week and who might be able to take home that crown. So very excited for this one, but we should be hopping into draft shortly here. But, give us a little bit of insight into what these two teams might be bringing out onto the Rift here, Listuya.
It's so funny going through like this entire little UGL season, because the names just become more and more recognizable the more broadcasts that go on. You're like, wait, this is the player like 2 weeks ago and stuff. Probably one that sticks out to me is probably Thought Wrecker, actually, on for Coog Esports. We have seen some domination from him in the top side, and usually going for more team-oriented stuff. But we've seen alternatively, though, for Yale, for Turtle Wizard, alternatively, it's a lot of the meta top laners. It's a lot of the Gnar, a lot of the Shen, and actually one of the other exciting things about UGL is that it happens to be on a fresh patch nearly every 2 weeks. So it being 11.11 now, there's actually a good amount of changes that spice some things up. I know a few of these UGL teams, and I believe Coog is one of them, looking at it. A lot of them like to prioritize Ezreal, and Ezreal actually got really nice buffs, considering not only the base stats, but also the massive Sunder buffs. I assume we'll see that top lane as well. But otherwise, there's really not anything too wacky. It's a lot of the standard stuff we've seen, unless, we do throw... I remember one of the subs, I believe, for Coog had actually thrown in a Garen. So when it comes to stuff like that, it's a little harder to predict, but... Otherwise, probably going to see Ezreal Lux picks, considering both of them the past two patches have gotten buffs. And otherwise, probably the standard control mages in the mid lane almost every time that we see as well. But coming into it, we already see a Lux ban and at least one control mage ban for Vlad, and Silas, another Terran competitive.
Yeah, and Silas, of course, with his new skin, we don't get to see what that skin looks like, unfortunately, for this one. We were talking about it off the top, how we thought that Renekton, who has a human head now, is kind of weird, but all the other skins are pretty nice. But, that's just us wanting to see new skins come out, and we might see that come through because we have a Varus first pick here, and that is a champion that has been popping up a lot in competitive recently, both with the on-hit build, the lethality build. You have a lot of different ways you can go, and there's even been a little bit of a rise of AP Varus, and when you're facing a tank like a Nautilus, what does that do for your team?
It's the AP Varus. Okay, so I can talk about the on-hit and the lethality. I have knowledge and experience in that one. The AP one is pretty fresh out of the gate. I've seen so many wild things. I've seen Ludens, I've seen Soul Harvester. I've seen so many weird builds of the AP, but as you mentioned, it does work, weirdly enough, with tanks. You just watch them just obliterate someone with 3k health, and you're like, okay, maybe it's not Troll. But another champion that was actually touched in this most recent patch was Senna. They were wanting to kind of take away power from that Frostfire support Senna with Grasp that we were seeing, wanting to shift it more to a damage-oriented build, actually buffing the stats on the lethality scaling for Senna, and seeing already for the first day of solo queue, a lot of pros actually opting for Eclipse. So maybe Coog Esports are on top of that. Maybe they're already wanting to utilize it as quickly as possible. But otherwise, Yale, Varus, as you mentioned, great power pick. More than likely going to be the Halo Blades lethality, but to see it with a Tom Kench, typically not really something we see unless they're wanting to specifically take it away from the Senna Tom Kench, which is probably good thinking if they're thinking it's going to be the barrels on Nautilus jungle, which, oh god, that's another thing we have to mention of. Wow, this patch, I tell you, man, this patch is chock full of stuff.
Yeah, and Nautilus jungle would be interesting to see on the first day of the new patch, of course, in a more competitive league as we are here. But, you know, Nautilus jungle, I've seen it a couple times. Not amazing, but, you know, it's fun. And if they really want to go for a tank jungle, I mean, Nautilus gets tanky, that's for sure. But yeah, the Tom Kench taken away, just wants to give a little bit more safety, most likely. But Swain picked up already in this draft. This is spicy already. I'm excited.
I can't tell who's going to be playing what so far. This even these first three, it can be flexed so many ways. But I got to tell you, man, I was told by a buddy of mine, I asked him one day, he's a challenger coach for one of the amateur teams. I said, man, I want to climb as a bot laner. What's the OP pick? What's the, you know, secret OP pick that'll win me in every game? And he said Swain. I said, what? Yeah, no, like Swain bottom, just play Swain bottom. So if I had to guess, and it's one of the nastier lanes that I played, Swain Senna bot with the fasting Senna being able to have that support item on her and the Swain taking the farm, that could be pretty disastrous. But, you know, having that engage from the Nautilus, that, you know, tanky type of jungler is pretty good, but it's really scary when the other side for Yale, they actually did pick up the Diana, something that at least horrifies me. That champion's damage will, I can never wrap my brain around it, but a lot of power picks, and I'd say at least a somewhat intricate draft coming out from both sides, because again, we have Coog with, you know, the unlimited flex potential here, and Yale actually, you know, making the decisive first pick of the Varus, taking that away, but then also making sure, you know, punishing the Nautilus pick, saying like, you're not getting Senna Tom Kench if you're going to leave that up. So swiping it away. So it's actually interesting to see from Hot Sauce Party and Ritsu for both the coaches at each of these universities. You know, it's something nice to see. But now for the second pick phase, as we had some tanky bans for Yale, and then just a lot of more damage for Coog. Does look like it's going to be a gangplank up for Thought Wrecker for Coog.
Yeah, so we're going to get no questions answered until that last pick. Gangplank technically can go to top lane, mid lane. You know, Swain can go top, Swain can go support, Swain can go bot lane. Senna, I don't want to say that it can go top, but it can go top technically. And Nautilus, of course, with that flex, you can go down to that support. You can be the farming part of that in the Senna Nautilus combo, or you could go into the jungle. You know, Nautilus top lane was a thing. It's not awful. So, I mean, a lot of different options here, but the set is going to get picked up. You already see the likes of a Nautilus and a Swain who do get a lot of health just off of their champions. You can just throw them back into the team now, into that Senna. And what would you like to see as the last pick here? Because there's still the question to be answered. Is Diana going jungle? And that question's answered, actually. There's a Galio on the other side here. So we have the team comp set, and I think that the side of Yale, they have a really good team fight comp already.
Well, as you were mentioning with Coog's flex potential, I think it's one of the great things about watching UGL, and one of the best parts of the entertainment is that you really don't know. Could be a gangplank support, dude. Could be a Senna mid. We don't know what's going to happen. That's part of the excitement and why we keep watching. But yes, now that Yale has finished off their composition, very strong, but my main concern is that they're only ranged as Varus versus Swain. So 4 melee champions into a Swain, I don't know who the Swain is going to be just yet. I'm not sure if it's bot, not sure if it's up in a solo lane or what's going on. But later on in team fights, mid to late game, gonna have a fantastic time. And even adding on top of that, I think Victor is also a fantastic pick. A lot of the area, or, you know, AoE zone control. It's tough, actually. I want to like sit here and say that I want to give the draft to one of the two teams. I think they're both pretty strong, but I'm going to say Coog is definitely looking a lot scarier.
And I think one of the biggest things is that with the Victor picked up, we know that Gangplank is most likely going to a solo lane. Victor is most likely to go to a solo lane. So that's a Nautilus in the jungle. So it is Swain, Senna, bot lane, I believe. And we'll see how that all works out, because that's quite the interesting combo. You get that root down with either Swain or Senna, and Swain can pull them back. You can get a lot of stacks off of that as well. So gonna be some exciting stuff coming out from this game. Not holding any strats back in semifinals, really just going for the juggler in game 1.
Not gonna lie, I'm genuinely really excited for this, because this could go either way. Like I said, even though I'm thinking Coog, especially with the Swain Senna bot lane, there's so much early kill potential, and it's almost nice the fact that the Varus is a Tahm Kench, I suppose, to like, if he is gonna get, you know, just chain CC'd by both, and I'm assuming the Senna's gonna have Glacial Augment as well to just add on to the frustration. Yeah. I think the TK was actually a pretty nice pick, surprisingly enough, but they need to make sure both Nice Condemn and Ceratosaurus, you know, you got to make sure you stay safe, because I think that's definitely a lane that can snowball out of control. But alternatively, I mean, up in the top side, Diana Set can also get to a point where both of them are so scary and able to roam around Galio ult as well. So it's like, man, well, I actually have... this is going to be a wild one, dude. I'm telling you.
I think it'll be interesting to see where these picks opt to go as well in terms of their rotations around the map. You have this Set and the Galio who both prep ganks really well for the likes of Diana. Whereas on the flip side, you have this Nautilus jungle, and we haven't seen a whole lot of it. But Nautilus sets their own ganks up in a way. You get land that dredge line, and you can just crowd control someone down, really set up for a victor in that sense. So how do you think the matchup between Diana and Nautilus goes if, you know, if they run into each other? What's Nautilus 1v1 potential, really?
In terms of the 1v1 potential, I'd 100% give it to Diana. 2v2 might be a different situation depending on what, you know, who is actually there with the junglers. But in my mind, I know they did buff the clear speed of Nautilus a little bit, but I would have to guess that Diana is still going to be infinitely faster. The Diana wants to be able to utilize her fast clear speed, not only being able to get ganks off, but also getting as much gold as she can on her own. Nautilus is more like the cheesy Nunu. Like, you snowball bot, you walk away, you snowball bot, you walk away. And that's what I'm wanting to see out of the barrels on this Nautilus pick, is especially like early levels, like 2, 3, 4, like Nautilus being able to not only hook, but even just the auto for the root is just so easy to set stuff up. I want to see him, like, I don't even care where it is, honestly, because any of these lanes would be good to protect, but he just needs to focus his place. I would say bot lane, get them ahead, because I would say that, you know, Dats GG and Turtle Wizard, I think the prio should be, you know, on them for the top side. Let Varus TK just stay, you know, as far back as they can, farm it out, scale up.
And another thing to keep in mind is that with the crowd control that comes out on Nautilus, Swain can take advantage of that too. In this case, Nautilus needs to press his right mouse button on someone, and then Swain can pull them back, start to that crowd control chain from there. And the issue with Tahm Kench that we see sometimes is they'll eat the Varus, then they'll get crowd controlled, then all of a sudden you get a 2-for-1 combo. You see Tahm Kench spit out the Varus, and you're like, hey, you're right here next to us. Let's get a double kill off of that. But, you know, this is going to be an interesting draft nonetheless. So we'll go over these rosters really quickly before we hop into this. On blue side for game 1 is going to be Yale Esports. They've got Turtle Wizard up in that top lane. That's a GG in the jungle. Bitnari in the mid lane, Nice Condemn in the bot lane, and Ceratosaurus in that support position. Meanwhile, on your red side for game 1 here is Coog Esports with Thoughtwrecker up in the top lane, the Barrels in the jungle, Carbonetics in the mid lane, Big Shit popping in the bot lane, and Memer Sticks down at the support position. So we'll see how these team comps turn out as we hop onto the Rift in just a couple of minutes here, waiting for that spectator delay. But this is UGL Semifinals Game 1 coming at you here. We'll be right back. And welcome back, everyone, to UGL Semifinals. Half Asian down alongside Listuya here to bring you Yale Esports versus Coog Esports here. Game 1 onto the Rift. We've got ourselves Nautilus jungle. We've got ourselves Fasting Senna with a Swain in the bot lane, and we've got ourselves some great gameplay that's about to come through. I'm excited for this one. And right off the bat, we see Dark Harvest Diana. Interesting choice.
Definitely an aggressive choice, definitely a confident choice that you're going to be able to farm up those souls. And again, I know it has its different interactions, especially like in soul lanes versus a duo lane, and especially the jungle. But if you were saying like you're going, as far as I understand, Electrocute is better early game, but Dark Harvest scales later on in the game more. So maybe that's GG is just saying like, yeah, don't worry, boys, I'll make sure I one-hit Senna Victor. Like, I will make sure to be, because again, looking at the side of Yale, like, there's not a whole lot of damage compared to Coog. Like, you know, you're going to have the Gangplank that's eventually going to get to that barrel point where he's just horrifying to even go to a certain zone of. Double that for Victor, because I think it's just that much better of a champion. I think Gangplank sucks, but nonetheless. And again, my main fear is, again, Coog having Swain versus these 4 melees. It's going to be interesting. It is the Fasting Senna, so she has gone for the support item. It is going to be the Swain picking up that CS, and I think a lot of it is going to have to do with the itemization. You know, if he goes for something like way more super heavy aggressive AD like Rabadon second, yeah, maybe he won't be able to survive Yale's comp. But you know, if we're seeing like Leandries into Zhonya's Demonic, then he's probably unkillable.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be interesting to see what the Memer Sticks opts to go for on the Swain build. Of course, down in support, you often see them go for Leandries just because, you know, we burn a whole lot. But here we're going to have to see how this works out because, as you said, 4 melee champions, it's basically free real estate. If you land a piece of CC, Memer Sticks can get that pull with the Death's Hand and really yank them back and start to stack up those soul fragments as well. Cool little thing about Swain is technically he scales infinitely, so should be interesting nonetheless. But early game thus far, you can see the lanes that have the prio up top and bot. Meanwhile, mid lane, Victor just getting shoved in as expected.
Yeah, no, there's going to be no surprise there. And again, I want to see, excuse me, Bits and Ari working together with this Diana, because I think that's one of their biggest win conditions is being able to snowball his top side. I don't think they want to spend any time bottom. So I think any sort of Galio ult, like unless they're responding to a play that's happening bottom and it's just more so for protection rather than the proactive, you know, playmaking, then that's going to be more of their route, because I think Coog is going to be more the offensive this game, looking for picks with the Nautilus, and again, having what I would consider priority with this, you know, the Senna Swain, but already some skirmishing going down mid.
Yeah, Carbonetics just going to get justice punched on, basically. Going to be tough for him to really have that advantage in terms of being able to farm safely. So far, doing really well in the farm department, all things considered. Victor, not the easiest champion to CS on early game, but down to the bot lane, you can just see the hurt that this Senna Swain is able to put down onto Nice Condemn. He's burned his pot already, of course, has the cookie. As well, Tom Kench has burned one of those health potions, so a little bit of a health lead already going over to the Coog bot lane, but across the map, just a little bit of a CS lead overall for the side of Yale.
Yeah, no one cares about the CS. Let's take a look at that Tom Kench skin. Hold on, I'm unfamiliar with this one, which I gotta head over to the shop real quick in a separate window.
Yeah.
Arcana Tom Kench, or Arcana.
Yep. Oh, Wrecker actually taken down. Oh, we were baited by the shop. Yes, Arcana Tom Kench down in the bot lane, but up on the top side. That's Pool Party Gangplank taking a swim. Gets taken down by that Diana, but more fighting down in the bot side here. Memer Sticks actually getting a nice extended trade here onto Stratosaurus. He's going to get rooted up here. No pull quite yet, but that's going to be the Death's Hand landing, and big shit popping. Going to pick up that first kill of the game on that Senna. So up on the top side, Gangplank goes down as expected, and on the bot side, the Senna Swain already strikes first.
And again, it's not surprising to me, and I think that in a lot of even just smaller...
Oh, whoa.
It's not Wrecker okay. I think he's having a bit of a rough time this game. So that, I mean, that is going to be a second death of the game, but it's kind of what we expect from a Gangplank. When you pick Gangplank, you're kind of saying, I understand I'm going to be weak side. I'm going to be self-sufficient, but down bot,
Yeah, bot lane, there's a dash there onto Big Shit Poppin', but he's able to get out of there for the time being, and that's GG. Doesn't have the flash, gonna get zoned out by the Vision of Empire. It's gonna end up being a 1-for-1 though, as Ceratosaurus has shown up. I think Memer Sticks can get out of this one and actually go for the pull under the tower, give you a little bit extra damage to Ceratosaurus, takes a piercing arrow for his troubles, but in the end, another 1-for-1 on the bot side. But this set is starting to scale up incredibly quickly against Thoughtwrecker here on this gangplank.
I just want to say that I appreciate you for saying that Pool Party Gangplank took a swim like that honestly, and the way you just transition from that is honestly just, you're built different, dude. I gotta tell you. But honestly, yeah, there's already so much action going on here. You know, it's not even 6 minutes into the game, right? So excuse me. So yeah, the set is already getting a substantial lead here. Not opting to go for the Bramble, which I think is pretty token when it comes to first thing, the Grasp Gangplank can really cut down and sustain throughout the lane, and obviously is reliant on the Corrupting Potion. But Yale already on top of the Dragon Control, taking that first Dragon being an Infernal, the next being a Cloud. But again, top side, the set is already pretty big. The Diana picking up 2 kills as well. Did a lot of damage to the Senna that not even Big Skip Poppin' I think anticipated, but that Diana passive packs a punch. And yeah, so already this is actually looking pretty good. You know, the gold lead isn't, massive right now, but it is in the favor of Yale Esports. And honestly, it's not where Coog wants to be.
Yeah, Coog in a little bit of a rough situation. You can even see here on the top side, Thoughtwrecker really doesn't have a way to walk up to this wave safely and set, able to set up a freeze. And he's going to be able to flex his muscles in that matchup a little longer. You know, already 2 levels up. Gangplank doesn't even have that ultimate to try and cheese some assists across the map. But as we expected, on the bot side here, the power of this Senna Swain just constantly putting pressure here on it to the Varus and the Tom Kench. The Tom Kench not even there. And up on the top side, actually, more fighting. Showstopper gonna come down. Thoughtwrecker doesn't have the oranges quite yet. And Turtle Wizard just gonna keep using those fists and pounding down on the Pirate. No Citrus can save you from that one.
You can keep your statistics, but I prefer the magic. Turtle Wizard up here is absolutely having a field day with Thoughtwrecker. And this is, and it's not surprising to me. And again, it doesn't matter, what sort of, type of rank bracket I'm looking at. I see a Gangplank and I see a liability. It's sad to say. I was kind of hoping, I'm like, dude, it's Thoughtwrecker. This guy's got a reputation to uphold, right? And he's kind of disappointing me a little bit, and it's only just beginning for him. So really just needing the, play as passively as possible, trying to, just disengage anything that, is going to be coming his way with the set Diana. But, 2 levels down and a solo lane hurts so much. Not only the CS lead on top of that, but it is definitely rough for him up there. But bot lane is a little bit of a different story. Again, we're seeing the back and forth pretty often, but seeing the Swain go for Ninja Toppy pretty early, like I was hoping to see kind of more for a rush of the Lost Chapter. Might not even need it, actually, as Ceratosaurus taking a good amount of damage, but Chain of Corruption is just going to get cleansed instantly. And
that was a Captain Jack cleanse too. All these ultimates are coming down. Cannon Barrage, Hero's Entrance, as well as the Senna ult Dawning Shadow there. But here's Nautilus going for a little bit of a play. Actually does a decent chunk, so ends up being the cleanse used, the heal from Nice Condemn, and a bunch of ultimates, but ends up being inconsequential. And speaking of the Nautilus right now, we expected this jungle to have a little bit more of that early presence. You wanted to see kind of, as you said, the Nunu treatment, where they just try and gank lanes permanently. But one thing that we have not seen out of this Nautilus is any sort of pressure. And I'm not surprised to see that the Diana is ahead in farm, has gotten on the board a little bit. But speaking of which, Nautilus in the mid lane goes for the depth charge onto Bitnari. This is going to be a 2v2. Moonfall only going to land onto 1 as Carbonetics tries to get out of there, has to flash. As the Dredgeland goes a little bit wide, that's not where he was aiming on that one. Meanwhile, up on the top side, Thoughtwrecker are going to get wrecked once again by Turtle Wizard. Iron Spike whipped to the back of the knees, and that's going to be a Gangplank limping back to base. 0-4-0, not having a great game thus far.
Yeah, no, this is wild. And again, we got to give props to Dom, or camera guy, to be able to keep up with this non-stop action happening mid lane, happening top lane. Just having to go back and forth constantly because these teams are just not giving it a rest. But, specifically Yale here, They're actually being able to snowball the lead that they have with this top side, and that was basically what I was hoping for with their composition. You let the Varus and the Tomkins chill down there. The Varus is going to be stacking his tier up anyway. It is a little bit worrisome to, let a Swain Senna, for some reason. It's a bit of a tongue twister for me, but, letting them scale is a little bit scary. But with what you picked, you kind of don't have an option. You kind of just understood that you're going to forfeit down that side. And it looks like there might be a little bit of a skirmish for this next dragon in about 40 seconds. Both teams kind of looking at and starting to prepare some vision around there. But I would say that, honestly, if a fight does go down at this next dragon, and it does look like Herald is being picked up as well, so, one objective after another that Yale is picking up is just going more and more in their favor. If they're able to pop that Herald up top, get the first blood turret, it's going to start being disaster for Coog very quickly.
It's important to note as well that despite the Senna and Swain being able to win their lane, so to speak, they haven't really had any sort of jungle attention either. We've seen that's GG go down there, get that 1-for-1, which is the only death that Senna has thus far. But, Nautilus has basically parked his ship up in the jungle, not even really going for any sort of aggressive plays. He's kind of beached himself up there with Gangplank, who's 0-4. His ship has been sunk for a while. But, we've got to see this Nautilus go within at least a nautical mile of this bot lane at some point and try and snowball this lead, because that's the lane you want to see. So at this point, the Nautilus jungle, not really early game focused. What is it gonna offer later on at this rate?
You get a big beefy meat shield and it crowd controls people, which is not a complaint most of the time, but nice condemn here and a little bit of trouble having to flash away from that when we're seeing the effects of rooting or chaining that CC just root after root. But right now the Rift Herald is popped in the top side, getting that first blood turret, but does look like that dragon is going to be going over to Coog this time around.
Yeah, splitting up the map, putting the objective, splitting the objectives, actually getting a lot of damage actually onto this top side turret. They might be able to take down a tier 2. Thought Rector gonna call down the aerial cannon barrage there, but really doesn't have enough damage behind that to clear the wave. Look at the mid lane, actually. There's gonna be a big skirmish here as Carbonetics forced to get out of there. Dawning Shadow, a little bit late and a little bit unnecessary, to say the least. That's a big ultimate that goes down, but just wants to make sure that the moon will not rise upon them, because Diana was in the area as well. So Carbonetics starting to get pressured underneath this tower here, with basically the whole squad of Yale already coming through the jungle.
Yep, this is exactly what I wanted to see, and I'm happy that Yale is executing it. Just look at the aggression of the Diana in the set in the jungle of Coog right now, and they're just not able to do anything. Victor is still under his turret. He's getting pretty close to that Leandries, which will definitely help with a lot of the beefy shields, or rather the just big beefy tanks. I guess they are shields really for the Varus. To be able to shred those guys a bit, that's going to be nice. We're probably going to be seeing the same thing on the Swain as well. If I saw Ludens, that'd be kind of weird, but it wouldn't be the weirdest thing I've seen at the same time. But yes, as you mentioned though, the Nautilus so far, hasn't really made as much of an impact as we wanted to see. I was really hoping that he would just non-stop dive bottom. Like, that's kind of the only play he can make right now. The Gangplank fell too far behind from Turtle Wizard, who's making a play on bot now.
Yeah, Turtle Wizard coming behind, has that ultimate, just gonna yank Swain back, who goes into the Demonic Ascension. Gonna get tossed back into the team though, and Turtle Wizard going on a rampage, but the whole squad's turning up here. Carbonetics gets a big chunk out of Ceratosaurus, almost makes that dinosaur go extinct, but that's GG, gonna go back in, only gonna get one with the Moonfall as the Barrel hooks his way into this fight, but he's gonna be swimming in the ocean after this one. 2 more kills going over to the Diana here. And even though we're on the Ocean Rift and you've got 2, seafaring champions on one side of the rift, they're swimming with the fishes after that one. 3 for 0 already picked up on the side of Yale, and they've got a big lead starting to come through for themselves, up 4,500 gold after that one.
This is a very scary situation to be in if you were Coog right now. And again, probably the only light at the end of the tunnel right now is that you have the Senna Swain. That, it may be a different situation if we see a full 5-on-5 coordinated team fight and they're able to stop the mayhem that both Diana and Set are going to be able to wreck onto their teams, but that's going to be tough. The Stride Breaker and the Harvester both already finished for the Set and the Diana. And then you look at the other side for Coog, you know, these guys are still working on their first items. It's not even really that big of spikes for something like the Gangplank that, if I'm assuming that is looking like Sunder, you know, you kind of need a little bit more to complement that. You know, you're not going to be too much of a threat with only a Sunder. You know, it did have a nice buff this patch. Certainly as an Ezreal player, I've been loving it, but by yourself as a Gangplank, especially with the scary set, you know, it's not going to really be doing too much. You have the Victor scaling as well, though. Carbonetics, you know, trying to play as passively and as efficiently as possible, seeing if you can scale up on this Victor. That might be a threat we don't know, but Big Skit is gone.
Yeah, that's going to be the Senna going back to the grave. Might be going back into Thresh's Lantern, and Swain going to be falling down back to Earth after trying to hop up into that Demonic Ascension. And that's a Diana 2v1. That's the power of this champion. When you give her 4 kills and she's able to pick up another couple of them, Carbonetics is in trouble here. He's going to get taken down by Nice Condemn. The Barrels is trying to fight this under the tower, and it's going to be Stratosaurus who's tanking it up. Not even going to get taken down, and Bitnari going to get that one with the Winds of War. Another big fight for the side of Yale Esports, picking up 4 kills for the price of none in that mid lane. And it's starting to, this canyon is just absolutely erupting in terms of the gold difference right now. Almost 7,000 gold difference at 16 minutes. And looking over at the champion specific ones, you can see that the only real gold lead is trying to come from bot lane. That gold lead's approximately 100 gold, but mid lane 600 gold in the lead for Bitnari. The jungle, this Diana almost has double the Barrels gold right now. And up on the top side, this Gangplank, even though, you know, you have that gold scaling technically in your kit, this set is just absolutely massive at this stage of the game. And it's going to be really tough for the side of Coog to get back into it. But what are they trying to look for at this stage of the game to get themselves back on their feet and back into the action?
Dude, I gotta tell you, that is a very tough question, because there's just, it's so hard looking at how fed this Diana is. You know, Medjai's Soul Stealer already picked up, and one of the things that, even though the Fasting Senna, you know, picking up the Kraken Slayer, you know, it's a build that I've definitely liked and I still think is viable and strong. The biggest con of it is how squishy you are. Like, barely a little over 1,000 health, and I'm pretty sure the Diana with just QE is going to wipe that out entirely. So for her to deal with such a scary threat, it's got to be the Swain and Nautilus protecting her. And right now, Yale's just going to take this third dragon uncontested, because again, Coog really doesn't want to get in there right now. You know, we have Bitnari down in the bot side, even applying some side lane pressure. You know, Thought Wrecker's trying to get what farm he can up in the top side, still working on that Sunderer. But that's GG's here on the side and might make something happen.
Yeah, look at the zoning potential of this Diana. You have a Victor who's normally like the zoning king with his gravity field, but he has to use that extremely defensively as they give up that mid lane tower. Actually, just want to ask the observer if we can get a soul check here on the Swain, the Senna. We've got to see what they're at, because that's another thing to take into account. The side of Coog have themselves an extremely potent scaling comp if they can get to that stage, and you can see Swain has 15, which isn't that amazing. He gets 75 bonus health, but 63 stacks on the Senna. That's 60 extra range already coming through, and just going to keep scaling up the later this game goes. So far, so good in terms of the Senna stacks, but we're going to have to see a little bit more come through from Coog if they want to make it through this mid game now.
Yeah, the other thing that helps her stay safe, since you were mentioning the Senna attack range that is just basically scaling infinitely, is picking up that rapid fire cannon. You can stay at such a far range and you're able to actually pick people off in fights that it does make a massive difference, especially when you're having to deal with the threats of a set Diana, where if they are anywhere within your breathing vicinity, you're probably dead. Like, it's a sad thing, you know, you don't have the Tom Kent to just, you know, be able to swallow you up and be able to, you know, protect you from everything that's going to happen. You have the Nautilus that can stand in front of you. Like, it's not a bad thing. You know, he's finally got the Frostfire finished. You know, it's going to help him out a little bit. Sunder on the Gangplank as well is going to add a little bit of damage and sustain off on that Grasp as well. But right now, I just do not see a world where, especially 5-on-5, that Coog is able to win this right now. You know, it's going to be looking towards Baron here in a little less than a minute, and then Ocean Dragon in about 3 minutes. And right now, they're kind of playing it slow, getting some farm up a bit, and, you know, waiting for these mainline objectives. But for the majority of this game, though, Yale has played very decisively, and Dats GG has been the spearhead of it, is going for the barrels.
Yeah, the barrel's going to try and get that depth charge down, but you can see Turtle Wizard using that stride breaker forward. A bunch of ultimates used, but that's going to be the Nautilus taken down once again. Beamer Stick's going to go flying, but not going to be flying high enough, as Bitnari able to pick up another one for himself. On the back end of this, though, they're starting to turn this around a little bit in terms of the damage. Turtle Wizard has a big haymaker that keeps him alive, and that's actually going to disengage the fight as well. Bitnari has to flash out of that one as Carbonetics starting to move forward here, but doesn't look like he's going to be quite strong enough yet. Another couple kills going over to Yale, and they're going to start to have a lot more pressure on this map, and Baron is now an option on the table. Do you think that we see an early Baron come out from Yale, or is it still just a little too risky?
Dude, I gotta tell you, though, at least that fight, I can't say what Baron's going to look like because it wasn't a clean ace. It wasn't a complete wipe. There's still a pulse. Like, Coog is still in this. Like, it's a pretty hard gold deficit that you have to fight back from, but you gotta, this is kind of where you play the mini game of Bounty Hunter, where you say, okay, 600 gold Diana, 500 gold Set, 250 on Galio. The Varus and the Tahm Kench at this sense don't even matter. You pick up one kill on the Diana, which you have those pick potentials for, with mainly the Nautilus, and then, as you mentioned, more towards draft, how Swain is able to, be able to use his passive, be able to chain that CC and make it even more devastating for someone to get out of a chain that they have. You pick off that Senna, when you're not paying attention, she's off by herself. Like the last play, she was, in your jungle at the wolf camp. So if there's something where you can establish some vision, which again, Yale right now are doing a good job of even clearing out, you just got to pick off the Diana and start making some money.
Or you just pick off the Nautilus and don't have to worry about any of that. The Barrel's going to try and fish his way out of that, but instead he's just going to be taken for dinner there as Nautilus goes down once again in his own jungle. Of note, you have basically 3 items in your inventory. They all give you a lot of armor, not a whole lot of magic resist. Diana, last time I checked, does a lot of magic damage, so not really able to get himself out of that one, not really able to swim his way up creek. But in the meantime, in the river, we're gonna have the purple worm taken down here. Thoughtwrecker is over the wall, but I don't think there's any chance that he's gonna get anywhere close to this. Bitnari just gonna zone him out. Looks like they're gonna be able to pick themselves up a Baron, and now a 10,000 gold lead for the side of Yale Esports.
Definitely give a side over to Bitnari. I love when people are aware of that, just to make sure, like, there is a such slim chance that Thoughtwrecker is able to, pick off that Baron with a barrel, but that chance is still there. So being able to just prevent that, be like, listen, I'm not gonna let Gangplank anywhere near her, anyone that would have maybe wanted to contested that. But it's just nice to see the awareness of these players, that they're actually understanding how important these objectives are, and that silly things do happen when they get swiped away. But anyone that's played solo queue has plenty of stories about it themselves. But fourth dragon now coming up here, and it is going to be the third if Yale are able to pick this up, working towards the Ocean Soul, something that will make this composition even scarier to have to deal with, and there it is secured. So right now, probably looking towards, with that set and the pressure down in the bot lane, maybe working towards mid, maybe even towards the top side if you really wanted to split it. You can do a bit of 1-3-1 action, but the main story is that Yale needs to start breaking into the base of Coog right now.
And thus far, it's been Yale able to control the entire map, and Coog just looked like they're lost at this point. And it's really hard to figure out exactly how they get back into it. Now with their backs against the wall in their base, we're going to have to see a miracle play come through, and I think it has to come off of the backs of either a massive barrel chain or the barrels getting a chain into the middle of that team and really getting a lot of power out of that depth charge. But for the time being, Carbonetics actually going to get pulled back in, and Carbonetics is going to go down. Diana into the backline actually gets a 2-man moonfall. Will go down from that Gangplank, but on the back end, they're actually starting to clean up a little bit here. There's 2 shutdowns already going over to this Gangplank, but the Chain of Corruption, he's already eaten his fruit. You need to eat a little bit more fruit than that to keep yourself alive from Nice Condemn and that Chain of Corruption, because there's not enough vitamin C in that one. The only C he's seeing is the bottom of the sea, and the entire team gonna be falling down, and that one a clean-ish ace there, 5 for 2 for the side of Yale. And they're gonna start to take down this first inhibitor on the bottom side of the map. Really big gold swing there, pushing their gold lead up again to 11,000 gold. And despite Gangplank picking up a couple of kills there, just not enough at this stage. A little bit too little, a little bit too late.
Yeah, no, you're on fire with the puns, and Yale is on fire with this game right now to, bring it up into this best of five series, and they're starting it this strong. It's fantastic to see 20-4 right now, almost 25 minutes into the game. As you mentioned, the massive gold lead to come along with that. 7 towers to 0. Like, it's a pretty dominating performance so far, but as you mentioned, they're still the pulse. And again, one of the nice things is that they do have the bot lane inhibitor to start farming off of, and there's actually a lot of just golden experience that lays there, so that can actually help them get back into the game a little bit if they can turtle properly, not let any shenanigans happen in the meantime. But otherwise, again, like, Yale are in such a good position to close this out right now. Even though Gangplank did pick up those two juicy shutdowns, a lot of gold went over to him, able to finish off the Sorrelto's grudge because of it. But as you mentioned, it might be too little too late, and right now they're kind of just staying at the, at the brink of their base right now, but they don't have the Baron buff of Yale to worry about anymore. So right now it's kind of looking like both teams are a little confused, not sure which either one is wanting to do just yet, but slowly approaching the base with all three waves crashing is going to be the next move.
And it's almost as if this melee comp is doing perfectly fine, all things considered. A little bit harder to siege down, but you can see that Varus arrow just taken down about 500 health off of Memer Sticks there, despite, of course, the armor that he has built up there. Turtle Wizard going to go in for this once again, just decides to give the Carbonetics a little bit of a knuckle sandwich there. But Carbonetics now starting to get to that wave clear point where Victor can clear those waves effectively, efficiently. But in the mid lane, there's just not enough wave clear to go around. You can see the siege just constantly in their faces. But once again, just got to take a check on those Senna stacks. At this point, I don't really care about the Swain stacks because
the Swain isn't going to do too much of those.
He's gonna scale eventually. But Senna, really interested to see that she's at 107 stacks right now, so sitting on about 100 extra range, looking to pick up that rapid fire cannon. And Senna is a win condition here, but how are you supposed to execute the Senna in these fights at this stage when there's so much die potential from the Diana, the Set, the Galio, even the Tom Kench can just walk up there and give someone a little lick.
Like, dude, look at her health bar, man. I'm telling you, like, Senna, it's a walking caster minion. Like, a gust of wind is going to knock her over, and that's what's so scary for Coog against this Yale comp, because, like, all of them have plenty of damage. Even the more frontliney, just tanks, like the Set and the, I'd say Galio. There's a bit more damage on the Galio, but, even these guys that aren't supposed to one-hit you are going to one-hit you. So right now, Yale is still having a little bit of a problem trying to crack open this base. They're just letting the Varus poke down to the best he can. Having the Mirror Mana completed as well is a nice point to be at for the Varus. You just got to whittle them down slowly. The best sustain you have, is going to be the Senna for the team, but instead they're just going to play it safe and look towards this Ocean Dragon that, again, looking at their composition, especially with how far ahead they are, an Ocean Soul is probably the best thing they could have asked for.
And at the end of the day, it's the Senna sustain versus Ocean Soul sustain. I think that 9 out of 10 dentists would recommend getting that Ocean Soul, and the 10th one is just, doesn't like the water or something, because this is going to be an Ocean Soul coming through for the side of Yale. They're going to be swimming with the big fishes at this point, because Nautilus, he's not that big of a fish. This Gangplank hasn't really been too impactful. It is starting to scale up, though. Has that Sorrelto's grudge now, so the barrel combos will be able to chunk a decent amount off of the likes of this Galio and this Set. But Baron once again up for grabs, and it's still looking really dire for the side of Coog. And I feel like we've said that it's dire for a while, but they are starting to stall out this game enough to the point where Senna might be able to get a little bit of impact in these team fights now.
I'm telling you, the fact that they're still in it says a fantastic amount about them, that they were down so much gold like 10 minutes ago, and they are still playing. Like, that's insane that, Yale hasn't been able to close it out, that, Coog is able to hold on and say, like, you're going to have to earn this win. We're not going to just hand it to you.
Yeah, and while it is them holding out, the gold difference is still the same. It's still 10,000 gold in the lead for the side of Yale, but it's a sign of weakness in some sense. It's a crack in the armor. It's that it's hard to take advantage of it this game, but maybe next game, if they have a lead that's not as substantial, you can stall them out. You can wait to scale and maybe look for a fight after that. But for the time being, it's going to be Yale dressed up in purple once again. Most likely here, bar a miracle steal here, and the There are some members coming over here. Baron down to about 2,000 HP though, but that's going to be Nautilus thrown into the backline. No one has fallen quite yet, as that's the G taken down quite low. Memer sticks in the middle of the fight though. He's taking up a whole lot of damage. Will not be able to finish off that demonic ascension though, as Nautilus goes down as well. Baron has been peeled off, but it doesn't matter because Nari flashing forward with the taunt and double kill coming through for Diana. Gonna get that spin off of her blade as Tom Kench under those towers, though. It might be a little bit deep for a catfish. Might actually get fried up here by the pirate, but won't be quite yet, as big shit popping, still trying to do enough damage off of the side, but not a whole lot that you can do. 5v2 trying to defend the base at this stage, and that mid inhibitor is as good as gone. Might as well be the blighting jewel in the Victor's inventory, because it's not really going to do a whole lot to save the base at this stage. 2 inhibitors going to go down, man.
You gotta take a jab at the... He's working on the void staff, man. It's fine, dude. It's fine. And again, right now, Yale take 2 inhibitors. It's gonna allow them to go back up to Baron. If they secure Baron, just go up to top lane. Should be a pretty easy, clean way to, you know, finish off the game. And again, I'm going to mention it over and over because I think they do deserve the props that Cougar's still surviving, and that, you know, as you mentioned, with them having more scaling comps and these champions that are so item dependent are starting to pick up their items. Like, there is still that pulse. It doesn't matter how far they're down. They are not out until that Nexus is dead. So, you know, anything can happen, especially with this next Baron. It looks like they're going to have control over it for the most part. I don't think they're going to be able to respond with the 2 super waves coming into their base. But, Victor Laser? Senna Q, something like that. You know, it might happen, dude. It might happen. It's at 5K. And it's gonna go over to Yale.
Yeah,
you know, I was hopeful though. A gangplank ult, you know, like it's happened to me. It could have happened, man.
It could have happened. I'm not going to take it off of the table. And of course, Swain did get himself a Vision of Empire there. He got, I think, 3 birds off of that, so not bad. But in the end, just going to end up being a little bit inconsequential, because this gold lead, you know, it still is around that 10,000-11,000 mark. But at this point, they have the permanent buff here of the Ocean Soul. They have the Baron as well in inventory, and they're 19 kills up. Like, it's a large amount of gold that Yale have in inventory, and it might just be them slapping with the wallets at this stage. You can see the 5-man group of Coog are all bunched up here, trying to fight as a pack or something, but even that barrel chain with the Seralda's Grudge not doing a whole lot of damage. For that armor penetration to work, you gotta have a little bit more damage. Chain of Corruption actually gonna come down as Barrel's taken down very low. It's gonna be Depth Charge landing there onto Diana, doing a little bit of damage, not too much, but more so disengaging for the time being. But no, this is where they start to try and siege, as no, all these health bars, they just aren't going down.
Just get in there, man. You're so far ahead. Just go, flash settle. Get in there, team.
Just press the go button at this stage. We're waiting for it to happen. They're playing it as safe as they possibly could, as Turtle Wizard gonna get pulled closer, but I don't think you want to pull him any closer, as the Barrel's taking a whole lot of damage. Here comes the Cannon Barrage to try and clear out that minion wave, but Memersticks is going to ascend here into the demonic form. But in the backline, that's GG gonna already get a massive Diana ult on the backline, and this is starting to be curtains here. 4 for 0 already. Diana in that backline doing so much damage. Varus able to pick up a couple of them as well, as that's GG gonna go for the dive. Chain of Corruption gonna land, and Piercing Arrow gonna clean that up. From all the way downtown Yale, they're able to pick that win up. That's going to be game 1 going over to Yale Esports over Coog.
Wow, 28-5 for the first game of a best-of-5 series. It was a bit longer than it probably should have been, but honestly, that is a dominating first game. That is definitely something that, you know, it's going to take a little bit of a hit for Coog. I'm really hoping they're going to be able to bounce back strong and see, you know, where they can fix up their mistakes a little bit. And, you know, we've got a whole series to go. That's just game 1.
Yeah, and this is a best of 5. So while Yale strike first, Coog can pounce themselves back into this one. And we'll see if they can do that in game 2, or if Yale will start to, I don't even know what their mascot is, Yale their way to 2-0 lead. But we'll find out after this break. We'll be back with game 2. Yale already up 1-0 in the series. Welcome back, everyone, to UGL semifinals. Half Asian down alongside Listuya. And in game one, we saw quite the showing from Yale Esports. And we figured out who their mascot is. It's Handsome Dan. And I can just say that that last game, Handsome Dan would be very proud of them for that one.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm hoping the dog is standing, nice and tall for that one, because that was a dominating game one performance. There's a lot of things we can talk about, like just an infinite amount of things we can talk about with that last game. But honestly, it boils down to Turtle Wizard and That's GG. That top lane jungle synergy just dominated the entire map. Both Nice Condemn, and Big Skip popping as 80 carries in that game, or I guess Swain and Senna. It's a weird one, but you know what I mean. Like the bot lane carries, didn't really get to make much of an impact. Varus is pretty cool to just have the chain of corruption to, keep one person still for Diana to kill them. So, it's going to be interesting to see if Coog, specifically Thoughtwrecker and the Barrels, if they can, if they decide to switch up their play style, or if alternatively the Barrels just decides to go for a different game route and just say, you know what, Big Skip popping and Meme Sticks, I'm your best buddy today. I'm spending all my time bot side, but they've got to be decisive on something, because Yale was decisive. You could see like they had a game plan. They knew what they were rolling with. But, Coog was caught off a little off guard by that. And I was giving the draft over to Coog, but Yale proved me wrong and took that game one in style.
Yeah, and as we talked about in the break as well, Nautilus had an insane impact just for the wrong team, I think. Might be a little wise to potentially change up a bad choice there, but we'll see exactly what comes through. Maybe the Nautilus goes down to the support position this time around. Man, I'm on fire today. I need to get something to cool off, I think. But Lux and Silas banned away once again. No Silas skin, Sag, but the Diana gonna get banned from Yale here. They're gonna... Coog is going to ban it away from Yale. Yes, that's what I was trying to say. They don't want to see That's GG on that champion once again. We had a great moon last night in terms of a beautiful full moon, and the full moon was still rising here in this one, as Diana had a massive impact in that game, as we were saying.
Yeah, no, I think it's smart to take that champion away. Once it starts snowballing, it is so hard to deal with. There are some specific picks that can, just really off-put it. Lee Sin's one of them. If you can actually time the the sweet chin music, the Lee Sin kick, be able to kick the Diana away before she pops the ult on your backline. Pretty nice pick, but unless you got something in the back pocket for that, you don't want to let that through. But as we mentioned before the draft of game one, I figured Ezreal was going to be pretty high priority, and here it is for Coog.
Yep, we're going to get the Prodigal Explorer himself. Going to be going down most likely into that bot lane. And we'll see if Big Skip Poppin can pull something out with this Explorer. Maybe get some nice Mystic shots across, get some damage down, and really explore those builds as well. Really going to be interested to see if they opt for the Essence Reaver Duskblade that has been prevalent for the last, I'd say, 5 to 6 patches, or if they're going to opt for the Divine Sunder option this time around. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. A Nice Condemn going to go right back to that Varus. And Stratosaurus says, you know what? You puffed up my skin, so I'm going to play it. Never mind. We have a Xerath coming through.
Okay, so I know, my stats research is coming in. Highest win rate bot lanes for Ezreal. I'm someone that I love playing Ezreal. I don't care how good or bad it is. I was thinking though, like, how can I maximize this? What are the best supports with it? I'm sitting there thinking like Karma maybe and Nami. No, 2 highest win rate Ezreal lanes, Xerath and Brand. So I'm going to take a guess and say that's a Xerath down on the bot side. I'm going to go for the wacky... if they called me on this, that's pretty sick, because it's a lot of poke down bot lane. It's really going to harass the Varus and Tom Kench, try to punish them as much as they can. But on top of that, though, not only are you having the Xerath ult and the True Shot Barrage Ezreal ult that you have to deal with, but you're going to have to do that in the dark now.
Yeah, it's going to be darkness falling across the rift, as Nocturne going to be dimming the moon out. At least you already banned away the Diana, so that's not going to come through. But the Zac gonna come hopping in onto the rift, gonna be bouncing around, trying to wreak some havoc. And in the end, it's not a bad pickup into the likes of a Xerath when he's so long range, and all of a sudden you just have Zac popping up right behind you, jumping all around and saying, nothing personnel, kid, at that point. But Xerath maybe just wants to match the skin synergy of Tom Kench as well. But more top lane bans coming through as we expect. This draft, man, this is why I love UGL. We always get the spicy picks coming through. So It should be interesting to see if the Xerath does go to the support or if it is picked up mid lane. Of course, at MSI, Showmaker had himself quite the game on Xerath mid, so might still be an option there.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think it can go either way. It would be pretty big brain if they do the Ezreal Xerath, you know, but we'll have to see. But something I have seen rise in popularity is the Zac in a solo lane, both top and mid lane. I've heard a lot of the praise about it being just the versatility of items that he can go, and one of the best combinations is going to be the let's see, Sunfire into Thornmail Demonic. And not only are you just super tanky, you have a ton of health, but that Demonic, the more you're actually sticking in a fight, you're actually doing a good amount of damage on top of the Sunfire and Thornmail. But maybe not into Ezreal Xerath. I wouldn't want to see that as a pick, and especially I'm not sure if they anticipated where that Nocturne was going to be. I'm not sure if that's like the answer they wanted to it in lane, but we did see that Yale did pick out a lot of the beefy boys. You know, they took away the Malphite, they took away the Mundo, knowing that the side for Coog right now, very squishy, and even more squishy with having that Echo. So they definitely have the tools to pick off the, you know, maybe that's what they thought was the problem last time. This Varus is just getting so much free damage off on the backside. There's really no way we can punish him, but let's see how he deals with, you know, a Nocturne flying at him, an Echo dashing in on the side, a True Shot Barrage coming in from the heavens, and then Xerath flying in on top of that. And I love the pickup of everything that I had just mentioned, and a Shen slapped on top of it. So Coog, this is getting to be an interesting draft, to say the least, and to be able to respond to that Shen with a Mordekaiser, that's not going to be too out of the ordinary. And having the Victor in the mid lane again, giving us the Zac in the jungle, so not the solo lane that I anticipated. But yeah, each side actually, you know, it does look like that Yale wants to kind of go with the same type of idea they had last game, but Coog is definitely switching it up a bit.
I like the draft out of Coog a lot because there's a lot of big brain plays coming through. Ezreal, of course, very safe. If you want to talk about how Tom Kench makes every AD carry safe, Ezreal has that on his own. Out on top of that, the long range of Xerath, and you add the Nocturne already. You just turn the lights out, and how are you supposed to see anything? How are you supposed to land piercing arrows if you can't see them? How are you supposed to jump in if you can't see them? So there's a lot of really good synergy coming through from the side of Coog this game, picking a whole lot of blue champions as well for blue side. So on theme, very appreciated. But on red side, you know, it's the secret synergy. That's the secret. Every comp that shares a color is the best comp in the game. Just that's how it is. If you don't like it, you can DM me on
that's
Twitter.
the law. Yeah, that's the law.
Law.
It's scientific fact. Like, I've never seen it disproven. No one can prove me otherwise. So if you actually do have a full, you know, skin team or color team, you're good to go. I mean, I've had friends of mine that have actually had the theory that all purple champions are OP. And you kind of think about it, you know, Kha'Zix and Malzahar and stuff, it's all overpowered, you know. So purple, Riot Games is biased towards the color purple, but not going to be a lot of purple, a lot of blue coming out this side. But as you mentioned, yes, Coog, their comp has a lot more going for them this game. I'm happy to not see a Gangplank. That was not really the performance on Thought Record that I wanted to see, but Shen is definitely something you can... I'm going to hold that back off on stream. I don't know if I'm going to word something weird. Just saying his name is going to get me in trouble, but hopefully Thought Wrecker on this Shen can actually make some global presence. You know, being able to use that Stand United, and especially with Dats GG having a dominating jungle performance last game, I want to see both Thought Wrecker and the Barrels be able to respond to it this time and not let, especially the top side, get as ahead as they did game one.
I'm looking at the purple champions now, trying to disprove your theory, but I'm going to forget about that for now. But yeah, we've got ourselves quite the team. We have a pick comp in some senses coming out from the side of Coog this game, alike to what they tried to do last game. They tried to get that pick comp with the Senna Swain bot lane. You have the Nautilus jungle to try and, you know, add on to that pressure. But here we have a different style of pick comp, more of a dive comp, if you want to put it that way. Shen Nocturne, of course, you can call it the aircraft carrier, you can call it whatever you want, but all of a sudden you get two people for the price of one when you're diving in. On top of that, you've got the Echo, but, you know, it's hard to see the problems in some ways with the Yale draft because they have a very anti-dive comp. The Zac, very good at messing up a team fight. You dive, all of a sudden you have Zac in the middle of the team and everyone's going in every which direction. Victor, very good at keeping himself safe. You put the gravity field underneath you, and if they dive you for longer than a second and a half, they're going to get stunned there as well. And of course, a Mordekaiser can just take someone all the way down to Brazil or whatever city. his new skin is. Because if we don't see Project Mordekaiser, I'm just gonna say it's a Coog win right there. But regardless, Mordekaiser very good at the anti-dive here.
What I'm hoping, I think you had that theory, you kind of hinted at it, but we did see the Arcana Tom Kench was the Xerath from Memer Sticks, a pure flex to show that he has the Arcana skin as well. If it is a double Arcana skin bot lane, I am blown away, and I am going to just straight up give VIP to both Serrata Taurus and Memer Sticks, just straight off the bat, for knowing what a true gentleman's game is and what the real competition lays, and that's in the wallet.
Yeah, and I think that regardless, the matchup is going to be favored towards Big Skip Hoppin and Memer Sticks, because surprise, if you have that much range against the Tom Kench, Tom Kench isn't going to be very happy. Of course, he has his tongue lash, but that's about it. But, overall, it's going to be a very interesting game. We've got some really spicy picks coming out. We completely glossed over the fact that we have an Echo mid lane, which is always exciting to watch. But regardless, we're going to see if Coog can get back into this series in game 2. On blue side this game, or if Yale are going to make Handsome Dan proud on red side this game and be able to solidify themselves into a 2-0 lead here. We will be right back with game 2 of this UGL semifinal. It is Yale up 1-0 over Coog Esports. We'll be right back.
And welcome back to what is now game two of a Yale versus Coog Esports here for this best of five series for the semifinals. Casting this series is going to be me, Lystuya, also known as Stu, with half Asian dad here.
My mic was muted, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had to pick that up real quick. I wasn't sure. I thought I was the one in the wrong, but you know, we got it. We
figured it out. We got it under control. But yeah, thank you, Stu, for the intro here. Game two already on the docket, and very exciting game one, looking to be a very exciting game two. And you know what? It's over. You know what? The Xerath didn't pick Arcana Xerath.
Yeah, see, that was the potential flex he could have had. Could have made it like, you know, you especially want some rivalry, you know what I mean? Like, even if it's smaller leagues, you can get some rivalry with people. If someone picks something that I had a skin of, like, intentionally the next game, it's a message. I'm going to take that very personally. I'm going to sit up real straight in my chair. But Meaverstick's missing out on the opportunity. It's not a bad skin, though. I guess it's more of a chroma. But either way, looking at these team comps as we were talking about, though, you know, Yale kind of going with the same type of game plan they had going the first time, even though Dat's GG not going to be on something as much of a powerhouse as Diana, but something that's going to create a bit more presence and maybe get his laners ahead on this Zac instead. But alternatively, even though we saw Barrels on Nautilus last game, we are now going to see him on the Nocturne. So Dat's GG and the Barrels kind of swapping roles a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this jungle matchup works out, because the Barrels, of course, going to be looking for just trying to get to 6 as fast as possible and try and dive some lanes wherever they can. But already in the bot lane, hitting that level 2 early, and you can see the Doran's shield actually coming out from Varus this game. Doesn't want to deal with all that poke, and for the record, the Xerath skin is the one that Showmaker used at MSI when he got his victory. So, you know, forgiven. We'll put it that way. It's forgiven for using that skin.
There we go. Yeah, you know, there's still a subliminal message. So, you know, at least he's, you know, shout out to Showmaker, you know, one of my favorite players. You know, this guy's cool with me. So Meaverstick's cool in my book. But Dat's GG already looking for a play on mid.
Yep, that's GG. Elastic slingshot in there. Stretching strike's gonna clap them together. The flash out and the dash out gonna just be enough, as Carbonetics able to stay alive. That's GG did burn that flash as well. So in the end, about a net neutral play in terms of those summoner spells, although Carbonetics will most likely be teleporting back.
So one of the things that just completely blows my mind is now Barrels up in the top side, is making some presence of his own. But
yeah, that's actually going to be first blood going over to Turtle Wizard already. Barrels has to fear the Mordekaiser to get out of there. Also no Project Mordekaiser, so unlucky on that one. But overall, quite the explosive start to this game.
Yeah, no, to say the least. I mean, you know, we're seeing early jungle presence already by both of the sides right now. And if I am Dat's GG, and, you know, he'd love to make that his name, and just making that early presence, really tilting the laners, is that, you know, the Echo has no flash. Punish him before 6, before he has that escape route of having that ultimate. You know, he has no flash. You just go back mid. Anytime you see him there and you're there with the victory, you can get some good synchronous timings going. Yeah, just nonstop gank Echo over and over. Just irritate him. Like that's what we need to see. We need to see more of like really persistent ganks. You know, like it's cool to see, you know, like efficient farming in the jungle and stuff like that. But I'm really wanting to see like really heavy pressure from at least one of these two junglers.
And I think that in the end, we're not going to see a whole lot of early pressure come out from the Nocturne. At that level 6 mark, will start to be able to flex his muscles or blades or whatever he has on his arms to, you know, start to win that matchup. Meanwhile, up on the top side, Thought Record can start those trades off well, but after a while, Turtle Wizard stacks up the Conqueror, stacks up the passive, and has that blasting wand in inventory. So going to be blasting away at Thought Record there a little bit more with the big old mace up there. But regardless, right now, still relatively even, just that first blood gold, and Barrels actually gets the smite down on that one. So, you know, you got the Scuttle Crab. Good job.
He kind of just walks away, just like, oh, wait, no, Dat's GG is actually going back in. The skirmish on the bot side might turn into a whole 3v3 bit of action.
Yeah, Big Shit taking a whole lot of damage there, saying, I want to get out of this one, and has to burn that heal of note. So first summoner spell used in that bot lane. Also, just noticed that Mimristix has barrier, so going for a little bit more of that safe option on the Xerath, trying to stay alive as long as possible.
I think barrier is actually very underrated, especially if you are deciding to opt for either an enchanter like utility support, or if you're just even going some sort of mage support, which I don't think is all that bad in certain circumstances. But the barrier is just so nice to have. You're not going to be in range to ignite or exhaust anyway. If you are, you're probably doing it wrong. But right now, Yale already picking up the first dragon as DatsGG does manage to secure the smite up on that. It was looking a little scary there. They have a few tools to be able to snipe that away. And, you know, Carbonetics and Bitinari in the mid lane as well, kind of going back and forth, but nothing happening just yet. But I am looking at Turtle Wizard 6. You know, Thought Wrecker's still working on it. He's level 5, and I can see a Death Roam in his future.
Yeah, I can see death in his future if you're putting it that way as well, but the Shen gonna have to be very careful about using the Stand United if they want to go for some plays around the map. And you can see Turtle Wizard just landing absolutely everything. Been landing a lot of those Qs down there onto Thought Wrecker, actually just taking him down to about 250 HP up on that top side. So once again, a lot of top lane pressure being exerted here by Turtle Wizard. 2 games in a row where he's gotten the better of this matchup. And even though Shed into Mordekaiser is heavily Mordekaiser favored, at least in terms of the utility you get, you know, it's still really nice to see Turtle Wizard really putting the hurt down there. But the Barrels is level 6, is potentially looking to strike some paranoia into the Iron Demon himself up on that top side, but I don't think Shen has enough HP to make that one work.
Yeah, if Turtle Wizard was wanting to be even that much more devastating, especially concerning the pressure that is being applied to him from the barrels, is that picking up a first item Bramble Vest as opposed to the Blasting Wand, it's going to negate so much more of the Shen sustain coming out from Grasp, and even just in general what he's going to be healing on top of that, just from potions. But alternatively, you have the Nocturne that's coming up there as well, that's going to have Conqueror as well, that, you know, you're not only having that bonus armor, but early Grievous Wounds versus that top jungle duo would do wonders for him. But he is going for a bit more of that aggressive damage, and as you mentioned, you know, he's putting it to good use, always just having the priority up in this top side, it seems. Already taken 2 plates off of him, actually. So not a bad start for Turtle Wizard at all. You know, having the kill is nice, but a 30 CS lead on top of it's pretty good too.
Yeah, feeling pretty good about himself up on that top side. And if we look at the gold difference, I'm pretty sure it's going to come down just to that top side. And as we expect, actually 1,400 gold in the lead. So a very big lead up there for the Mordekaiser. Most likely backed and picked up that Leeching Leer as well. So going to be feeling good. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, though, Carbonetics might be caught a little bit out of position here. DatsGG just hits level 6. Don't know if the Let's Bounce is going to come through, but the Paranoia will come through here from the Nocturne. Going to be able to shield away from the stun, but will get zoned away by the Chaos Storm from Bitinari. So ends up being a trade of ultimates there. Mid laner for, actually the Let's Bounce was also used there at the end of that one. I can see it's on cooldown. So a positive play in terms of ultimate cooldowns there for the side of Yale.
Yeah, not a bad play coming out from the barrels and knowing that his mid laner is in danger and just being a bit more reactive rather than proactive, you know, understanding that it was actually, you know, I'm not sure how well calculated DatsGG actually the minion XP on that level up, but that would be pretty smurf of him to actually know that last minion would have given him 6, gave him the Let's Bounce. You know, it was almost a potential pick for him, but Barrels was able to negate that pretty well. And meanwhile, up in this top side, like, this Mordekaiser is just so very devastating right now. And even on top of that, with that pressure that he's applying, DatsGG is kind of looking towards Herald. Bitinari is as well, and Turtle Wizard soon to follow. And yeah, Barrels is all alone. His solo's kind of said, we're not dealing with that today.
Yeah, Barrels just gonna have to get out of there. Doesn't really have any pressure around the Scuttle Crab or the Rift Herald up on that top side of the map. So might just be an objective taken for the side of Yale once again. They've been really good about taking these neutrals early and often. Of course, have that early Dragon in inventory. Have now that Rift Herald in inventory. Just got to double check who it's on. I believe it would be on the Zac there. But overall, in this bot lane, it's as expected, of course. The Ezreal is up 10 CS on the Varus, and Xerath is able to continually farm up those Spell Thieves stacks over time. And just a little bit of a gold lead down there in that bot side. But looking over at the items, we should be able to see a Rift Maker most likely coming through for that Mordekaiser in the next little bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, the items are typically what are going to make this game as soon as, especially last game when we saw a lot of the players of Coog just weren't even able to finish their first item by the time members of Yale were working on their second, if not completing him. And Carbonetics actually going for a nice little player in the mid lane. I'm not sure if he was able to land that stun just in time. It does not look like it, just a little bit more of a stalemate. But otherwise, yeah, it's going to be about when this Ezreal is able to get his items. Both the Varus and the Ezreal are going to be tier stacking, and I'm interested to see, as you mentioned earlier on as well, what the Ezreal decides to opt for in terms of his itemization. You know, the Manamune isn't going to be, you know, anything too out of the ordinary, but it's all about that mythic. You know, are we going to see the Duskblade? You know, is it going to be Stormrazor? We have no idea, or not, so Stridebreaker. That's the other weird one that's been happening. But right now, a bit of a 3v3 on this bot side as Yale, even though they got that first dragon, they're really wanting to secure the second one. But, you know, they've got a lot of poke to have to sustain.
Yeah, and there's a lot of gold that these players are sitting on right now. You can see about 1,200 gold sitting on that Victor, who doesn't have a whole lot of mana, doesn't have that teleport either, but actually going to be the jump in there. Teleport coming down as well. True Shot Barrage actually going to pick up Stratosaurus on the backside as the barrels getting engaged on. Going to bring the Shen into the middle of the team. That's a 3-man taunt coming down as Thoughtwrecker able to pick up Bitnari already. Turtle Wizard is stunned up, but is also in the death realm as Thoughtwrecker trying to stay alive as Vision Poppin able to pick up another kill for himself onto that Bears. That's 3 already. Zach gonna jump back in with the elastic slingshots. Can't get anything. Will go down to the passive and actually pick up a kill while in the unstable matter. But Turtle Wizard picks up another couple of kills with that smash down. And that's gonna even up this fight. 4 for 3 right now. As that's GG looking for Memer Sticks, gonna pick that up. And Turtle Wizard is an absolute wizard in this fight. Ends up evening up that fight and ends up getting a whole bunch of kills for himself as well.
Turtle Wizard, that was insane. That guy actually understands his 1v9 capability, saw how much he, like, that guy had Conqueror proc nearly that entire time. Like, he was chilling. He had the, you know, entire bar filled for that shield anytime he wanted to pop it. Like, he was ready to go. He was in there. And I mean, depending on what items he has, which, you know, it'd be interesting to see. He's got sitting on a 300 gold bounty as well as the Zac at 150. But honestly, it's, you know, yeah, having that Rift Maker, like, it's the true damage conversion. It's one of the best mythic item spikes, you know, being able to complete that first item that you could possibly ask for, especially when synergized with, you know, with Conquer as well. Like, the guy's going to be able to sustain the fight. He had no problems just chilling there. But alternatively, Coog were able to pick up a couple kills. You know, having 2 kills on the Ezreal feels pretty good. Did decide to rush for the Essence Reaver. Going to be working on that Manamune second, and we'll see what is followed up from that. But has a good amount of tier stacks in the lead on top of, I would say, both Varus and the Victor. The Victor's not as important as the Varus, but still a lead nonetheless, and it's what Coog should be looking towards right now to, you know, get them even more into this game.
Yeah, and another thing that they can look for to get a little bit more of a lead on Yale's side is using that Rift Herald before 14 minutes. It's going to be a little tight to see if it charges down, but it should be able to pick up another couple plates in that mid lane. Meanwhile, up on the top side, Turtle Wizard is having a field day up there, just absolutely dominating this matchup now. Look at the CS difference, look at the item difference right now, and Thoughtwrecker's just, he's getting wrecked once again up on this top side as Turtle Wizard keeps slashing him down. Gonna actually take him down to the death realm. 1 auto and the Q. Going to clean that one up. Gonna have that little crown saying, hey, I killed Shen, by the way, and might be able to take down that first turret on the top side as well. And Turtle Wizard probably should change his name to Rabbit Wizard with how fast he's accelerating this game through, and this Mordekaiser's pretty scary.
Dude, you're on fire at these pods tonight. No, yeah, he is, again, having such a dominating performance, and at least so far within this series is definitely taking the crown of MVP in, you know, unison with Dad's GG's, applying a great amount of pressure as well. But the Zerathol, seeing he can find the Varus, I think they still have the Tom Kench swallow if they really need it in time. But the Barrels is here on the side looking for a potential dive, but Dad's GG is here to respond if they get a little hype in. Here they go.
And that Barrels was, or the Barrels was actually on Vision there, Varus gets eaten up, and there's enough time to get that teleport down as well. Shen is in the middle of the fight, though, but Bitnari just gonna smack him down. And 2 kills already going over to the side of Yale. Big Shit Poppin' gonna jump in there, but he's gonna be saying, oh, skit after that one. Gonna be trying to get himself out, but nice condemn. Gonna knock him down. And Memer Sticks now on the run. Has the barrier up and available. Gonna try and return a little bit of damage, but that stun's gonna miss on to Ceratosaurus. Stretching Strike's not gonna be enough, but gonna bait out that barrier. Looking for just that last little bit of damage. That's GG going under the tower. Looking for it. Gonna die for it. Memer Sticks stays alive, but the burn actually gonna take him down, I think, from the red buff. So nice condemn, not gonna get any participation on it, but overall, a really good play from Yale once again. And the tables turn up 4,000 gold now as Turtle Wizard takes down some wolves. And what can the barrels do about it? I'll walk past.
Dude, he's so sad, man. Like, this is a sad point to be in yet again when, and again, it's a little different when, like, if bot lane's ahead and you have like a Fed 80 carry to deal with, they're typically, even if you're even or even slightly behind, you're usually close to the same level. Solo XP is a different story, though. Looking at the level 12 Turtle Wizard, and honestly, Bitnari doing a pretty good job himself with Carbonetics as well, both being level 11. But, you know, being level 12 compared to a level 9 Shen, like, there is no world in which he's able to get away with a fight with this Mordekaiser. You're not able to match him, and you're not able to do that job of Shen where you're constantly applying side lane pressure and, you know, having the option of the Stand United to join in fights elsewhere. And on top of that, you know, Coog, even though being behind, they tried to go for an aggressive play with that turret dive, with the barrels, though, but Yale was ready for it. Like, you saw the second the lights went out, that teleport was already coming in. Like, it was a fantastic response coming out from Yale, but see what they got this time.
Yeah, lights going out in the mid lane. The barrel's gonna use that paranoia right on top of Bitnari, but Bitnari able to walk away from the True Shot barrage as well. That's GG gonna try and pull back Carbonetics, who still has the ultimate available. Hasn't used it quite yet. Gonna use it to get back in there, but Turtle Wizard is here once again. Gonna force the flash out of Carbonetics, and Turtle Wizard is always there at the right time and decides to bonk down that tower as well. Gets another chunk of gold in his pocket as that's GG still chasing this one down. Stretching Strike's gonna land, but can't get it to connect. And Carbonetics going to be able to get out of there, albeit with a couple more gray hairs after that one. It was very close.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, you feel it the next day. You just know a couple days of your life. You know, if you had lived with 10 health, I'm telling you, it lowers the life expectancy. It adds a little bit of, you know, blood pressure's a little higher the next day. You just notice because it's tough in these games where it's this close. And you're trying to hold on by, I can't even say a thread. They are down about 6K, but, you know, they showed how long they can last being down 10K. So they are still in this. They're still working on the man immune for the Ezreal, which is a massive, massive spike. And they still need to get some items on the Shen. Needs to be able to tank for the front line of the, basically backline, just constant artillery that's going to come out from the Xerath. But, oh man, they are in some trouble bot lane. This is about to be, I know this feeling.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit rough to get out of there. Basically, Poppin going to be able to get out of there. So they did spot it out with that ward, and True Shot Barrage just going to go tickle a Ceratosaurus on the back there. But another tower going down, and that's all 3 outer turrets as well as that mid lane inner turret already taken down for Yale, and they're in really good standing right now. They're already up about 6,000 gold at the 18-minute mark. Not as big as last game in terms of their gold lead, but still very comfortable.
It's definitely a comfortable place to be in, and right now, not having to worry, especially, I'd say, oh, okay, I was wondering what the Tom Kench ult is, but, you know, they're just rotating mid. That's actually not bad. It was worrying me. I thought there was a little bit of a spicy play, because I just never know, you know, it's just every second there's constantly something going on, but again, the top side of Yale, yet again, like, it's not even like, I'm not saying that the mid and the bot lane for Yale are doing poorly at, you know, at any sort of point. You know, they're just doing their jobs, and sometimes in certain team compositions, that's what you understand. You're like, cool, like, we're going to play this passive bot lane, you're going to provide more of just backline DPS and utility, you keep the Varus safe, and you also have the zone control from Victor. Turtle Wizard's going to be the guy that's killing everybody for the most part. And right now, we saw him taking wolves earlier. Now he's just taking the red. Big Skip Poppin' is really sad, especially as an 80 carry. Tried to swipe it away with the Mystic Shot there, but he is just taking everything away from Coog, and it's just such a rough spot for him to be in. We do see the barrels trying to be a bit more proactive the last few minutes, and might be another play.
It actually might be the proactive play that they're looking for here. The right of the Arcane gonna come down, And Bitnari taking a whole lot of damage, but gonna be saved by the Tom Kench for the time being. Gonna get thrown back into the parallel convergence though, and this is the fight that Coog are looking for. Ceratosaurus is taken low, but Turtle Wizard is unstoppable, already taking down that Echo, and that's GG, just disrupting so much in the backline. The Claw gonna be able to pull him back as Thought Wrecker goes back into the Death Realm. Turtle Wizard is dominating here. Memerstick's gonna use that Shocking Orb and is shocked when it does not land, as it is the Elastic Slingshot to take him down to 3 for 1. You pay the price of a victor and you get 3 kills in the back pocket, and they're starting to look towards this inhibitor tower already, as the barrels might just get jumped on. Actually, Big Shit Hoppin' gonna be the one to get potentially jumped on. The barrels now forced to run away as Turtle Wizard zoning them off 1v2, and they're going to be able to pick up this tier 3 turret at the very least. That's GG still going forward though, as Nice Condemn going to start to put down some damage, but that's GG not as healthy as maybe he wants to be. Turtle Wizard going to actually get stunned up here, and this might be the chance where they can shut him down. Although Ceratosaurus always there to eat them up, and they're going to back off. They don't quite get the inhibitor, but they get another tower for themselves.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to say whether they actually wanted the inhibitor or not, because you also have to keep in mind when taking an inhibitor, you are allowing the other team to just farm up a lot more gold than they would otherwise get from normal waves. So maybe even in this sense, keeping it alive may not be the worst call in the world here. Don't want to overextend, don't want to overstay, and, you know, let something bad happen, as That's GG and Nice Condemn are making sure they're not the ones to make that mistake, having to walk all the way back as far as they can. And Coog might be looking for a bit of a desperation Baron. You know, they're kind of hovering around it, but I don't think they're going to pull the trigger on that one just yet, because it is 5-13, and it is a 7k gold lead and a little bit of change like that, that, you know, Yale actually has in their pocket right now. And even though the barrels is in here, That's GG actually throwing his arm over the wall, you know, trying to give Barrels a hug real quick. But the poke from the Xerath is actually starting to come out pretty significantly. It's a little bit of a weird build with the combination of the Ludens as well as the Lucidity, but at the same time, he's just getting as many spells off as possible. He's not quite getting the Magic Pen Mythic passive from that yet, because he doesn't have another item completed. I could be wrong. I'm not sure if the Sightstone item counts as a legendary item, and if so, then support is actually busted. But regardless, you know, right now it is all in Yale's favor. They have 3 dragons on the board. Soul is coming up in 30 seconds. They really don't even have to prioritize this Baron if they don't want to. You know, maybe even Coog, knowing that they want to apply the pressure around that dragon, maybe sneak the Baron. And a Xerath ult is kind of here just to check and see what they're doing. It does look like it did go towards that Baron, just checking it out, because they don't have any vision over there inside the pit. So, and I mean, they could, or Yale could actually burn it pretty quickly, especially with how big this Mordekaiser is right now. Nearly Flame Horizoning Thought Wrecker for Turtle Wizard here. So, you know, pretty impressive performance, 2 games in a row. And right now it's looking for oh, goodness me, it's looking like a pretty free soul for Yale.
Yep, True Shot Barrage gonna come across. It doesn't look like it's gonna be in time. A little bit early there, so gonna be the Cloud Soul picked up for the side of Yale, and they're gonna be flying high once again here in this game. For the time being, though, it's just kind of the lull state. 8,000 gold lead. They're just trying to push out these waves, and the Flame Horizon has been hit there. As if you just look at the items on Turtle Wizard compared to Thought Wrecker, you can say, I think this Mordekaiser is fed. He has 3 items in inventory compared to just the Iceborne Gauntlet and a couple of crystals in the back pocket for the Shen. So right now, the Shen versus Mordekaiser matchup has turned a little bit too far in favor of the Mordekaiser here. Although, you know, the only way that you can really compete against them in these side lanes now is to send 2, 3, 4 members up there, and even then he has a chance.
You know, it would be shredding this Mordekaiser right now is a Divine Sunder on the Ezreal. Unfortunately, not going to pick that up, because otherwise, look at it. It's understandable knowing that the Mordekaiser was last pick. He did get the option of looking at the entire comp that Coog had established and picking it at the end. But who is going to kill this Mordekaiser? Like, I tell you, I'm looking at the whole comp of Coog right now, and it's not just items, but even just champion-wise, I don't see how Turtle Wizard is taken out of this. If he is, that's 1,000 gold in the pockets of Coog, and it could be something that, you know, to get a gold swing back in their favor. You know, he may be the prime target, but especially when he's taking someone to the Death Realm, no QSS is on any of them to take him out of it. It's really, yet again, a tough situation that Coog have found themselves in.
And in a lot of ways, the main thing that comes through in terms of killing this Mordekaiser is not a champion on Coog's team. It's a champion on Yale's team. If Turtle Wizard wants to die, he's going to die. He's going to run through a tower or something. So that's really the only thing holding them back. But Carbonetics actually going for a deep flank here. Going to get a really big stun coming across. But it will be him going down to the death realm. The barrels on the backline is able to pick up a kill already. But Turtle Wizard going godlike already as the barrel's going to get pulled back with the stretching strike. They skip popping. Is in that front line, though, doing a lot of damage, able to take down Bitnari. But it's not going to be enough as Thought Wrecker has shown up. So has Memer Sticks, but there's still blinking red health bars coming through. That's GG, and Ceratosaurus live with a sliver of health as Turtle Wizard stands strong, but they're going deep. They're going in as Shocking Orb actually going to take down Ceratosaurus as they're starting to realize might have gone a little bit too deep.
Okay.
Gonna pick up the ace, and actually Turtle Wizard gonna be able to tank up that entire turret for the Zac passive to come back up and active, and that might actually be the game coming through. Death Timer still a little bit on the way here. Nocturne will be up and available, so it might just be the one Nexus tower for Turtle Wizard, and that's GG, but Turtle Wizard still walking forward. He's a raid boss. He doesn't care. He's going legendary here as Carbonetics is trying to clear out that wave. That's GG, still very healthy. Gonna try and bounce out of there as Turtle Wizard should be able to just walk out safe and sound as they pick up a Nexus turret for the Troubles and a whole bunch of kills. I can't keep count after that one, but overall a very strong play coming out from the side of Yale, and they've extended that gold lead back up to that 10,000 mark.
Wow, this is, again, just from all fronts. This is... Oh, does he get the red? Oh, see, mini victories right there. Big skip popping, sneaking away that red buff. It's one of the best W's you can have as an AD carry. Doesn't matter how much gold your team is down, you sneak away that red buff. That's a little victory for today. So, well done, Big Skip popping there, sneaking that one away. And unfortunately, he's really the only one that is too much of a threat. But honestly, in the base or in the mid lane, as you know, Yale was trying to break in there, it was actually a very well executed fight from Coog. Like, actually, it was so well done that it would have been a clean ace, but unfortunately, it's again not only the entirety of Yale that is ahead as a team and just total gold, but Turtle Wizard, I'm pretty sure, was able to stand in the middle of 5 people, and I think he took 300 damage. Like, that guy's health is not being touched at all. Like, everyone else is actually a little bit scared. Like, we saw, you know, the Squishies having some trouble versus Xerath and Ezreal, but Turtle Wizard, I mean, look at him right now. He don't care. He gets stunned up a bit, and there's... Actually, they send all of them down here.
Might as well send the whole kitchen sink. This is going to be the barrels going in with that Shen ultimate. Turtle Wizard will go down, but at what cost? The Baron, of course. So they kill the raid boss. Actually, in the end, it ends up not being a huge gold swing. Either way, you get the shutdown, you trade it for Baron, so gold stays relatively even. But he killed Mordekaiser, so that's a starting point. You get the kill onto the Nocturne. He's going to be able to finish up his Sterak's now, and there are still ways to win this. There's been Baron throws that happened before. Memer Sticks now with that Hextech Alternator going to be doing a decent amount of poke. Speaking of which, here comes the Right of the Arcane into the backline. Bitnari taking a whole lot of damage, but this front line's very tanky. That's GG going to make him kiss once again. Chain of Corruption going to come through, and the barrel's taken very low. That Sterak's was just not enough at that point. Bitnari taking a whole lot of damage as they pick off the jungler. Now it's a 4v4 right at the gate, or base gates here. Zac gonna charge up, not gonna opt to go in as they just decide to keep that cannon minion afire, and as Bitnari, oh my goodness, 100 HP, less than that. Gonna limp away from that one, but has the teleport to rejoin if necessary. Ooh. Meanwhile, Turtle Wizard's back. Ceratosaurus, though, might be going down as Turtle Wizard ends up trading support for support there. Big skip pop, and now 5-2-2 has a decent amount of damage, 2.5 items, but is it enough to keep this game alive? Bitnari teleports back in, and they look like they're going to have to give up another inhibitor for this. Just not enough members up on the map, and not enough wave clear either.
It's, again, just slowly but surely, it's so rough to watch, because, again, they're finding little picks here and there. They're picking up the 1K bounties and such, but that's GG is saying, I want out of this one. Turtle Wizard's with them, so they're in the front lines, taking out that last Nexus turret. Yep. And here's a Nocturnal, maybe.
The Barrel's trying his best, not going to be able to get it. The Victor does go down, but Turtle Wizard doesn't care. He just took Thought Wrecker down to the Death Realm and gonna end that game on his own. Snap, I'll do it myself, he says. Thanos all the way, and that's gonna be game 2 going over to Yale.
Wow, again, like, yeah, I didn't think it was gonna be two dominating performances in a row like that, but when it's 10K gold, that is definitely a rough time. And honestly, Coog putting up a good fight until the very end, like the way they actually fight back and are constantly like just nonstop trying to find their way back into the game, finding some shutdowns here and there, making some plays happen. But you know, oh gosh, it's so hard once you're behind a certain amount that it's hard to find your way back in the game. Yale doing a good job to establish dragon control, baron control, just doing, the typical, just standard macro game, and it paid off.
Yeah, and at the end of that, it's going to be Yale firmly in the driver's seat now, up 2-0 in this series. We're going to have to see if they're able to close out the clean sweep or if Coog are going to start to charge up those silver scrapes for us. Once again, Half Asian down in the studio here with game 3 on the horizon here of our UGL semifinals. We'll be right back after this break. And welcome back, everyone, to UGL semifinals. This is game 3 of Yale versus Coog Esports here, and Yale have a firm grasp on this one, 2-0 up in the lead, looking to close this one out. Once again, Half Asian Dad alongside Listuya here, and we saw the meme in the middle of the game there that was posted on Twitter. We saw
Oh,
the
come
reaction
on.
coming through, and it was just like, woo, that's a tough one. But overall, it has been Yale who have been in firm control of this one from the get-go.
It's been pretty crazy. I did not expect to come in a semifinals with it being a possible 3-0, but there is still plenty of room for readjustment for Coog here to actually, pick up a couple games here, bring us to a game 5. Anything can happen at this point, but it is definitely a rough first 2 games to actually start within a best of 5 series, I tell you.
Yeah, and at this point, it comes down to your mental capabilities. It's just about being able to play the champions that you want to play and execute on the champions that you need to execute. And at this point, Yale have all the power to them right now. But Coog, they might have a couple of tricks up their sleeve, maybe looking to hide an ace and pull that out at the last second. So we'll have to see what comes through in the draft. But thus far, Yale has played a comp, and they've played the same comp effectively 2 games in a row to great success. And that Mordekaiser last game, absolutely massive.
Beyond massive. It was actually pretty horrifying. And again, especially with the composition that Coog had drafted, I joked about it, and in a realistic sense, even if the Ezreal is Divine Sunder, there's not versus a Mordekaiser that is that fed. He's sitting there with 3k health, 200 armor, 100 something magic resistance. Having the Conqueror healing as well. I don't think there was a lot of grievous wounds either that we saw in any of the members of Coog, which is detrimental when it comes to a pick like Mordekaiser. But it was how do you kill it with, an Ezreal, Xerath, Echo, and stuff like that? There's no way you're going to actually be able to slice through that Mordekaiser. You definitely need something something we've seen a lot more picked up on recently in the past couple patches is something like Kog'Maw. You need something like Kog'Maw, Vayne. You need something that can just melt that guy like butter. Otherwise, he is never dying. So, and that's the thing with Turtle Wizard here up in this top side is that he has shown is that if he gets an inch, he will take a mile.
And thus far, he has taken it multiple miles or kilometers, as I would say, up in Canada, of course.
Sorry,
regardless, what they've got to do is they've got to be able to claw themselves back into this one. And whether it be through something like a Cogmore, something off the wall, who knows? Maybe we just see ourselves like a Volibear mid or something that completely breaks the meta. And that's the sort of thing that we've seen in UGL before, and it has succeeded. So we're going to have to see what they opt to go for here in terms of their compositions. And at the end of the day, I think that the key for Coog here is just to be comfortable in their comp.
Yeah, there has been that kind of sense that I would agree where they do look a little out of their element, perhaps, and that I mean, honestly, I'm so worried about not worried about Turtle Wizard. He's obviously in a pretty good shape up there, but I'm so worried about Thought Wrecker, and he seemed like he's just at such a detriment in these top lane matchups where I'm worried for him, and I'm trying to think what can they really put him on where he's not going to have that much trouble. Because I think if you can prevent the snowballing happening from Dats GG and Turtle Wizard, your game is a lot more winnable. Because both, Memer Sticks as well as, goodness me, managing an OPGG, but Big Skit, they did show that if they get a bit of a lead bot lane, they will DPS. They will do their job, you know what I mean? So, it's either, again, you got to do some sort of hyper focus to the bot lane and just get them astronomically ahead, which they did try a couple times in that last game, but it was great response from Yale. In so many different plays they were attempting, even with having the advantage of the Stand United from Shen, they were able to neutralize those. And I think that was a lot of the key to their success. And probably one of the biggest things is just in general, when you're picking certain junglers and stuff like that, I don't think the Nocturne pick was bad, but in game 1 with something like a Nautilus jungle, but you're picking all losing lanes basically besides the Swain and the Senna, which is okay, cool, the Nautilus goes down there and just power forces the lane that is going to win. But you have the Gangplank and the Victor that are just not because of the players, but there's the champions naturally are going to lose. So it's not really helping them out too much with that type of pick. So I'm wanting to see what the jungle matchup is this time around. Coog actually was making some plays nearly successfully enough to, come back in that game with the Nocturne. We'll have to see if that's back up. But we are seeing Varus Tom Kench bans. That's actually a good amount of respect. Just don't want to deal with that one anymore. They said, come on, guys, pick a real bot lane. Diana being taken out, as well as the Silas, Vladimir, and the infamous Tristana. So a lot of bans coming out here, but it is funny to me to see, poor Nice Condemn having him and his buddy, having his lane taken away. They were pretty cozy on that, and maybe that's what Coog needs is, not only finding something that they're comfortable with, but start throwing Yale off their course a little bit and see what they can do.
Samira's picked up very early in this draft, so we're going to have quite the exciting bot lane already. Kaisa versus Samira, the 2020 champion versus the 2021 champion, although I think Kaisa is significantly older than that, thinking about it now. But, she's been at the front of the meta for such a long time, but Samira, definitely 200 years of game design right there. But the Gragas going to come out as well, and that's a very flexible pick. Gragas top lane, not seen as much now that you've moved towards the bruisers, but in the jungle has risen a little bit in popularity, and in the support role as well has moved up the list. So already a different look out of Coog Esports. Looks like they're going for comfort over everything.
Yeah, I'm wanting to see if they can execute it, though. I'm curious to see where the Gragas is going to go. Definitely liking the Kaisa Nautilus, assuming that is the bot lane, and we're not going to see a Nautilus jungle again. I don't think I want to see another go of that. One game for a series is enough. I think we'll put that away for now. But you're seeing something for, to have Nice Condemn on something that's a bit more aggressive and with more kill potential for, I can't pronounce this one, Ceratosaurus? There we go. It's easy when I actually think about it, but maybe actually giving them some more playmake potential. Like the Xerath Ezreal's cool, but at most you're just going to push them under tower, and if you're not turret diving them, the pressure that you're establishing is kind of taken away. But it does look like it's not going to be a support Gragas, as Leona is going to be picked up for Coog here. So not one of the best Samira lanes, especially with the adjustments that were made to Samira, mainly that you're only getting the extended passive auto if it's specifically a knockup. Like, you get to dash to them if they're stunned, which is cool. Like, it's not a horrible, I'm never going to say Samira Leona is a horrible lane, but you're typically wanting to see something like Galio, something like Nautilus, even Alistar are a lot better picks. They did have the Nautilus taken away from them, but it's tough to say. The Mordekaiser ban, though, I think is definitely well-deserved. I do not want to see Turtle Wizard getting away with that, as well as the set. So the 2 picks for top lane in game 1 and 2 is actually going to be taken off the board. But, Turtle Wizard says, I've got something up my sleeve, and this time around it's looking like a Gnar up in the top side.
And overall, we're seeing a lot of interesting picks come through once again. This time it's a little bit more towards the meta that we're used to seeing. Rumble in the jungle, though, picked up, potentially in the jungle at least, could be going towards that top side, despite the recent nerfs, of course, to his jungle clears. So we'll have to see where that goes. It's so often that we see it as a jungler, but since it did get nerfed, it may be going up to that top lane once again for Thoughtwrecker. And Rumble and Tana are not the worst matchup in the world for the Rumble, especially if you can stay ahead. Of course, the Victor are going to be going back into Bitnari's pocket there. Very comfortable on that champion. Very comfortable for both of these mid laners in that sense, but we'll have to see what Carbonetics wants to pick up, if maybe he's taking it. And I don't know where anything's going anymore.
What's going on here? All right, okay, so we got to do some detective work. Samira, Leona, definitely bot lane. We can roll those out. It's going to be the Camille on the top side. So it's either a Rumble or a Gragas right now. I would definitely say the Rumble jungle is going to be a lot more effective than the Gragas, but if that's the case, we have a Gragas mid, and that's kind of wacky. You're not really used to seeing that, and especially when it's going to be versus the Victor, and I don't know why Victor is such high priority in these games, but here he is. And, is able to, again, maybe not stomp a game as we've been seeing, but he is able to do his job. They have been scaling up, getting the items they need, and just enough to be relevant. So, not the worst pickup, but I'm so curious to see where at least the Gragas and the Rumble are going to be going. Bot lane is looking like it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath, actually. Kaisa, Nautilus, Samira, Leona, like, these are 2 lanes that both want to go in. Like, these are 2 lanes that they want to get, levels 2, level 3, level 4, like, it's going to be interesting, and I think a lot of the success is going to come down to mainly jungle presence, possibly some mid lane presence, or maybe it's even just the 2v2 factor, and it's just whoever gets or jumps the gun on the other first. But we'll definitely have to see. But it looks like game 3. I think this is shaping up to be a bit of a better one.
Yeah, and what we're seeing right here is it's going to be Gragas in the jungle. So the Barrels will be playing a Barrel champion. Might be where his name comes from, being a Gragas player.
I
Just
thought
realized
it was a
that.
Gangplank player.
Yeah, I thought it was a Gangplank player for the longest time, and
Yeah,
I was like, why is this guy jungling? Like,
I looked
what's
it
going
up,
on here?
man. I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, dude, the Barrels, you know, he's got to be playing a lot of Gangplank. And I'm like, wait, no, he doesn't at all. But Gragas, he also has Barrels depending on the skin, I suppose. But yeah, no, that'll actually be interesting. I want to see what he's able to do on this. I liked his Nocturne, and it definitely had a decent amount of impact that game, and he seemed decently comfortable on it. But you know, that's GG. You know, he's switching up another jungle pick for himself here with something that is pretty solid. We've seen a lot in competitive and solo queue is the Volibear jungle. So big beefy front line coming out from Yale yet again, and hopefully allowing nice condemn here on the Kaisa to maybe enable her a bit more to start. You know, maybe it's not going to be Turtle Wizard's game. This game, oh my goodness, man, the past 2 games have just melted my brain. Turtle Wizard, maybe it's not his game. You know, we're not going to see him maybe pop off as much, especially versus a Camille. I want to see Thought Wrecker, you know, maybe slap back with a couple solo kills, but I'm thinking it's either going to be Bitnari or Nice Condemn's game here. And on the other side for Coog, you have several options of what you can get snowballing. I'm not sure if the Barrels is going to be going for that AP Gragas or for more of the tanky Gragas. But AP is pretty good to, you know, pick up a couple kills, snowball a lead, especially if you're going for... there's a little bit of dyssynergy with something like Gragas Rumble, you know, and especially Leona. Like, Rumble Leona, very cool. You have a Samira on top of that, a Camille, oh my god, but then the Gragas kind of throws it off a bit. So we'll have to make sure that, you know, that potential dyssynergy doesn't kick in and maybe cost Coog a couple plays. But on the other side, though, it's pretty easy to see what Yale has kind of got cooking up. You know, the engage coming in from the Gnar Volibear Nautilus, and probably Kaisa diving onto the back line with them, and Bitnari trying to DPS to what he can. So honestly, this is going to be anybody's game. In terms of the overall draft, I'm going to give this one to Coog again, just because I can see a lot more potential for this to, you know, get a bit further ahead, and I like to see that Big Skip Poppin is actually on something like Samira this time. And, you know, I want to see some potential 2v2 action. Like, let's even, like, forget the junglers. The junglers really haven't been paying much attention to bot lane. Let's see some solid 2v2 fights bot.
Yeah, I'm prepared for this one. I think it's going to be quite the matchup here. Of course, Coog backs against the wall, down 0-2. They're going to have to come out with something special, and looks like they're going to try and play as much comfort as possible. Meanwhile, on the flip side here, on blue side, we've got Yale, of course, really looking to finish this one off. Go to bed a little bit earlier, you know, watch some anime before sleep. We know about the anime lists, guys, don't worry. So, but regardless, we'll be able to see on the flip side of this one whether it will be Yale cleaning up the clean sweep, or if it will be Coog Esports, making the series a little bit more interesting. We'll be right back with Game 3. And welcome back, everyone, here to UGL semifinals. Once again, Half Asian Dad alongside Liz Stuya. This time we made sure the microphone worked, so you get to hear my beautiful voice to start us off here. But of course, we're going to be in here with game 3. Yale up 2-0 in this one, trying to clean up the clean sweep here. But of course, Coog don't want to go down without a fight.
This is the first time we're seeing a bit of a 5-man invade going down here. We do have the Nautilus, and it is spotted out in the ward. We'll see if Coog decide to respond to it, because they are going head first, no fear.
Yeah, it looks like they're just trying to put the knife in the back almost, just kind of complete the kill in some senses. Samira under her tier 1 tower, keeping it as safe as possible. They have no idea. Put your smiles in chat for that one, as they were on vision the entire time. They see him walk in, they see him walk out. Meanwhile, they get a lot of deep vision on the top side jungle. So good response here from Coog already.
Any smilers in chat? It's going to be interesting to see what they do with that vision. There's a lot you can kind of adapt to knowing where the enemy jungler is starting. Kind of gives you an idea of what their game plan is, perhaps. There's so many different jungle routes, and by the time you know like at least 2 camps that they're doing, you have the idea of the next 6. So, just potential lanes they want to gank and stuff like that. So, honestly, if I'm the 2 junglers of this game, oh goodness me, it is actually a little tough to say. You can actually, as far as I understand, apply pressure in around any of these lanes. I don't think you want to. Actually, bot lane is already, getting hyphy.
Oh my goodness, yes, Big Skit popping, already taking a whole bunch of damage. Memer Stick's able to keep Big Skit alive, but both of those summoners already down, and only at the price of the exhaust for Ceratosaurus. So Big Skit actually gonna get flashed on with that dredge line, and First Blood going over to Nice Condemn, but Memer Sticks is mad, he's angry, he's going back in for it. The Ignite gonna take him down, and now we've got some supportal combat. 1 Aftershock is down, 2 Aftershocks are down. Memer Sticks is gonna have to try and finagle his way out of this, but the minions are just a little bit too strong. Ceratosaurus lands it, and he's gone fishing. That's gonna be 2 kills already for the side of Yale in that bot lane.
They did pick up a return kill. It's on the Leona, but I mean, it's a kill nonetheless, the 2-1 score, but having a bonus little longsword to start off the lane for the Kaisa is going to give them a bit of an easier time with this matchup. And like I said, man, this matchup, it is pure blood. Both of these supports want to get into each of AD Carry's faces and vice versa. They want to, constantly go for blood, but now Yale already with the advantage at not even 3 minutes into the game. But Thought Record, we can see a little bit of emotion. He is upset from the last 2 games, actually laying down some pain on Turtle Wizard this time around. So looking a lot more comfortable on this Camille, which is what we want to see, but the Barrel's looking to make a play mid.
Oh, the E flash there forces the flash out a bit. Nari Carbonetics is on the run too. He's overheating. He's going to get the last little drill slap there onto Bitnari, and that's a kill going over to the Rumble. And actually just noticed, Kaisa took her time getting back to lane, but that's because she has an extra dagger in inventory. She had 650 gold on her first back, so she's feeling really good about her inventory. Meanwhile, the Samira has a control ward. As actually that's going to go over to Daz GG. He picks that one up, but Thought Record doing very well in this matchup, all things considered. And this is a good thing to see out of the top laner for Coog Esports.
Probably the weirdest thing that I could mention. Oh my gosh, actually, I'm looking around. There's a couple weird things. Okay, so press the attack Camille, which I've seen in the past. I don't think it's the worst. It's mainly just for expecting that you're going to be constantly split pushing. You want to be able to win every 1v1. Uh, Usually grasp is what we see. You know, it definitely helps with the scaling as well as the sustain. But That's GG doesn't really care about what Thought Keystone is.
Yeah, we're gonna see if this Volibear can make a play. Looks like the hook shot gonna get flashed in front of by That's GG, but he's under the tower. He's gonna go down for his troubles. Gonna end up being a 1-for-1, but hey, he got the stylish play out of that one, so gonna be able to take down the Camille on the top side, and Gnar being the benefactor of that one. But maybe he does care a little bit about the Keystone after that one, because he took a little bit more damage than he expected, I think.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. He's already TPing right back top to get in the face of Turtle Wizard. The barrels is on the side here. I don't think they're going to be able to chase him down. He waits for the key and the flash with the hook shot.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, no, not like this.
And Turtle Wizard takes down Thought Wrecker for the second time. 2-0 on the Gnar, and that's a tilter. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a mental boom if I've ever seen it. I'm going to call it out right now. No bias here. That is just facts and logic. Facts don't care about your feelings. And that's a rough one. You know, so super rough. A great advantage for Turtle Wizard to be able to pick up. Having the Ninja Tabi first item. A Sheen on Thought Wrecker is pretty nice as well. But man, losing some waves under turret. And That's GG just, wow, already going for a play on the bot side now. And both of these junglers are just not messing around. Like, it is just constant action. It's non-stop. And we're going to see more of it in the spot lane, if I had to guess, especially with Dragon being up.
Yeah, this is game 3, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, this is exactly what you expect with everything on the line. Actually, Carbonetics is in a really good spot, but the barrels use that Predator down on the bot side. We've got some more skirmishing, but Base gets on the wrong side of this one. Memer6 is going to get the Zenith Blade through, and Stratosaurus is going to be taken down quite low, but Nice Condemn going to pick up the first kill of that one. Carbonetics picks up a kill in the mid lane as Leona picks up her second kill of the game onto the Nautilus. But Kaisa gonna pick up a double kill for herself. Those items coming in clutch there. And all of a sudden, Yale extended a 1,000 gold lead already in this game. And a lot of that coming through that bot lane and the top lane. Well, mid lane could be better.
It's surprising, and again, oh my gosh,
Turtle Wizard going for the Gnar, gonna stun up Thought Wrecker forever. No flash available. Turtle Wizard needs one more auto, gonna throw the house, not gonna be there. The wall not gonna hit either, as Thought Wrecker is glad to be alive after that one. Wow, that house just went a little bit to the left. You can feel the hair on Camille's back kind of get razored off there, but oh my goodness, what a start to this game. 11 kills in 6.5 minutes. How are you doing today, Lucia? How are you feeling after this?
Oh, dude, my blood pressure right now. I gotta get one of those machines, man, because this is... I thought the first 2 games were spicy, but both teams just threw out logic and reason and everything else, and they said, we are just going to battle. We're just going to non-stop get in there, and that is what we are seeing so far. And it leads for an entertaining show, to say the least. But right now, again, as you mentioned, there is a 1k gold lead in favor of Yale, despite the score only being 6-5. It's, you know, getting pretty even in kills, but gosh, it is just so insane to me. This is so bewildering of how quickly this game, and I guess I'll give credit to, I can give it to Coog too. You know, they are getting some kills back in their favors, or, you know, in comparison to the last few games where they were really just getting choked out so early. They've actually got gold in their pocket this time around, and, you know, it's really going to give me that hope to see what they can do this game. But at the same time, Yale is still able to secure a decent little lead so far to keep it rolling. Yale right now having that first dragon of the game as well. They've done a great job of dragon control, but Bitnari in the mid lane.
Yeah, he's in a little bit of trouble. The Chaos Storm just going to be able to zone him out, as Carbonetics is overheating there, so not a whole lot you could do. Thought Wrecker actually canceling out the hop there, trying to win this trade, but press the attack, you know, you don't get as much innate tankiness out of it, and sometimes Turtle Wizard just a little bit too tanky, especially with those plated steel caps. But Barrel's actually in a little bit of trouble. He's level 5 to the level 7 of the Volibear as the Storm gets brought down, but not going to be enough to clean everything up. But meanwhile, bot side, more fighting. Good Blade Whirl coming out from Basket to be able to block the dredge line, but there's still more fighting potentially here. They're just all over the map. It's a 2v2 on the top side, 2v2 on the bot side here, as the Barrels and Thought Wrecker are hiding under the tower looking for some safety.
I don't know which ways this is gonna go, but I'm gonna take a guess and say it's in Yale's favor if they decide to commit for this, even though they don't have the Volibear ult able to own Wrecker that turret. Thought Wrecker is already very low if they start this off. The barrels, though, full health, full mana, ready to go at any time. But Thought Wrecker actually being taken down by the grasp. The third Gnar auto isn't quite gonna find its way there to pick him off, but really making him suffer under turret right now. Oh my gosh, another boomerang is gonna land. Thunder coming out from the Volibear. Not going to be enough to take her out, but here's Leona going down bot lane.
Yep, Leona gonna get caught out a little bit there. Is actually Big Skit gonna actually pick it up in the end as Ceratosaurus goes down despite the depth charge. Big Skit. Oh.
Hello? Team?
Oh.
Team.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna forget about that one.
It happens. It happens.
You know what? Skit happens. I'm very confused about that one, but
oh my god. Wow. Okay, so that kind of put me on pause for a second. My brain actually broke from that one. It looks like a DC. Like, if I had to take a guess, that did look like a legitimate disconnect. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. But otherwise, taken aside from that, Turtle Wizard yet again, just having a dominating performance up in this top side, a massive CS lead, looking for some more damage off on a Thought Wrecker. I'm surprised he's even looking for this fight. And actually, we're seeing a little bit of a visit from Ceratosaurus here up in the top side with this Nautilus, letting the Kaisa kind of reset on her own. But really, just a poor, Thought Wrecker, man, has been having such a rough series, and now he's got 3 people up there, and a hook does land on the barrels.
Yeah, Barrel's going to be in a little bit of trouble. The Equalizer, very good to get the flash out of that's GG. And actually, they're going to steal away the Rift Herald, but I don't know if they can actually get this. Dredgeline going to be flashed away from, but Beamerstick's going back in here. The Barrels is going to be able to get a body slam and the kill for himself. I don't know if Rift Herald's actually still available to be picked up. It is. It just gets it before they expire. But Thought Wrecker starting to win the 1v1 up on the top side, but there's so many fights to keep track of. Beamersticks is deep in their jungle looking for Ceratosaurus, who gets out with the dredge line against the wall. And actually, Turtle Wizard going to be able to survive as well on the top side. So a very strong play from Coog there to pick up the neutral objective, to pick up a kill. Meanwhile, on the top side, it's still a 35 CS advantage for the side of this Nara's. Nice condemn. Not feeling so nice after that exchange with the Samira.
So I never got to mention it because I was too busy with the press the attack Camille. Rift Herald is popped here in the mid lane, not quite going to break it open, but a couple plates of gold isn't going to hurt either. And actually, that's GG is not even going to let me talk about it. I'm going for the Barrels.
The Barrels is in a little bit of trouble, but Big Skit is here as well. I don't think the Volibear cares. He has the Stormbringer, going to try and jump on the head there, but not going to be able to pick it up as Turtle Wizard teleports down for moral support, and most likely it's a little bit of help with that dragon, as this is going to be the second dragon most likely picked up for the side of Yale. But up on the top side, Thought Wrecker getting a little bit of alone time here with this tower, going to be able to cut down with precision while following the protocols, of course, up there.
Yeah, you know that feeling in solo queue. I know it doesn't matter if you play top lane often or if you've just done it a couple times. If you're not having a great lane and your laner goes off elsewhere, you just get to sit there for a bit. It's just like a nice serene time. You just get to pick up some waves and a couple plates. The Kai's here to interrupt Thought Wrecker's little vacation. He's going to clear that out while Turtle Wizard, like you had mentioned, did teleport to make sure that second dragon of the game was secured. And something, again, I want to talk about it because it's so interesting, and I wanted to flame it, and I'm not going to get a chance because here comes Memersticks going for Turtle Wizard.
Yeah, Turtle Wizard gonna have enough tenacity to get out of there, but the Barrels is up in the area as well. Memersticks gonna go for the Solar Flare, gonna get the slow as he tries to hop out. Explosive Cask is excellent to get them back there as a Big Skit trying to charge up that S token, and that's gonna be enough. The Gnar into the wall is not gonna clean it up. You know, up on the top side though, nice condemn could go for the solo kill. Well, it won't get it as the caustic wounds do expire, but Ceratosaurus has shown up as well, gonna walk right into the barrels, and that's a lot of damage coming out from that AP Gregus.
Yeah, no, he is actually committing for it. It does look like he is going for the Everfrost with the combination of that Predator as well, something that Nice Condemn might have to be a little wary of, running him down a little bit later. I'm going to mention it before something happens again. Lethal Tempo Samira. It was really weird. I have to mention it as quick as I can. And there's the hook. I never have a chance.
More fighting. Death Charge going to land onto the Samira. She's going to get taken down by That's GG. Memer Stick's going to try and get out of this one. We've seen them do decently well in this one before, but won't be able to get out of it this time. A little bit too tanky there. Ceratosaurus and That's GG are able to say GG to those two members down there. They're not going to have much fun, but Lethal Tempo Samira, we have a little bit of time to talk about it now. Interesting rune choice, not the Conqueror coming through, but
okay, so I'm
interaction I'm trying to see.
I think Conqueror, especially after the nerfs, it's pretty underwhelming on range. It's still nice to get the stacking AD, the longer you're surviving in a fight. But I saw the 1v1 of the big skit and nice condemn and actually, proccing the lethal tempo with the Q, then going in with the E. He was actually able to outduel him, even though, after nice condemn's Hail of Blades proc, lethal tempo lasts longer, so you're actually able to get more DPS. And I actually think it's interesting. So I wanted to say at the beginning of the game when I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty troll. Why would you not go Conquer on Samira? But I actually see the worth a little bit there is Carbonetics right now already just laying down some of the pain there. That's just one Rumbley. That nice condemn is having a take to the face there already. Not a mythic completed, but Alternator is a very cool item. His Turtle Wizard, oh, he wants Big Skit so bad. He's just not going to be able to find it, though. And like we had mentioned, though, great Dragon Control coming out from Yale yet again. 2 on the board. The next one coming up in about 2 minutes. And I really... we need to see Coog actually come back in some of these. Thought Wrecker is still farming up to the best he can. He is closer to a mythic item sooner than we've seen, but Ceratosaurus might be in trouble.
Uh-oh. Yep, Ceratosaurus actually not going to be the one who goes down. It's going to be Nice Condemn who just gets taken down, and the Gragas picks up a nice double kill for themselves there, able to clean it up. But Thought Wrecker in a little bit of a sticky situation as the gravity field almost was enough to stun him up. But, Thought Wrecker doing all right. Still down a little bit in CS compared to Turtle Wizard. Did pick up a kill, so is feeling a little bit better. Working towards that Trinity Force or the Sunderer, but looks like they're going to go in for the fight here. That's going to be the Hextech Ultimatum, and Thought Wrecker going to slice down Bitnari. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Big Skit in a little bit of trouble here. This Nar is quite strong. The Immortal Shield, though, is popped, but the S token is almost primed and ready. And here goes Samira. Oh, she's going to get taken down, get stunned out of the Inferno Trigger. And while Devil May Cry, she's the one who's crying after that one.
Yeah, no, it was looking good for a little bit. The combination of the healing coming out from the shield bow proc with the combination of summoner heal, it looked like he'd actually sustain a lot of that fight, but unfortunately Ninja Tabi, or I guess steel plated caps, or Lord knows whatever Riot has decided to name them, they'll forever be Ninja Tabi. But we're seeing the effectiveness of it there, especially like it hurts as a Samira. Having a level 1 ult isn't going to do much. It's super reliant on the level 11 for the level 2 ult. And on top of that, you still need the lethality. Like, the Stride Breaker isn't a ton of armor, but the plate caps are. And having that reduction of the basic autos, it's just so very rough for a Samira. Very hard to 1v1 that fight. I'm not sure if he should have gone for it in the end there. But regardless, Dragon coming up in 30 seconds. Both teams are actually looking to get a bit hypey for this one. And Memer Sticks is actually making a couple good plays up in that top side early on. And I'm thinking this next fight might be started off by him.
Yeah, you can see that Nari is just able to sit in that side lane for the time being. Ooh, really good ultimate out of the Volibear to stay alive. The knockback, though, from the barrel's gonna actually force them a little bit too far out. Stratosaurus staying alive, and they're able to survive the engage there. A lot of ultimates used from the side of Coog there as Turtle Wizard now trying to run away. Thought Wrecker just a little bit too scary at this stage, but that's a Volibear and a Nautilus ult in exchange for 3 Coog ultimates. But Turtle Wizard is starting to take a decent amount of damage. Might look to try and gnar him into the wall at some point, but Turtle Wizard gonna go mini before anything can happen. That's GG going over the wall, though. Not gonna be able to clean that out, and gonna flash out of there, so able to stay alive. But meanwhile, mid lane, Nice Condemn and Stratosaurus gonna pick up a tower, so ends up being the dragon for the tower. Not the worst trade overall, as the barrels no cooldowns up quite. Stratosaurus, where you going, buddy? That's the wrong direction as the barrels picks it up.
Yeah, he had the right route at first, and he's like, what if I just went over this way? What if I just went over, like, over this wall instead? And he got punished for it. That is an Everfrost Gragas that is completed for the barrels. Actually having a pretty solid game so far. 304 on the Gragas, as well as Carbonetics on the Rumble. We saw the damage he did, but Thought Wreckers wanted to get involved as well.
Yeah. And Bitnari might be in a little bit of trouble as Carbonetics just lays down the carpet bomb, getting that kill. 4-0-2 on this Rumble, and quietly has had a very strong game on this Mecha Yordle as... What was that teleport?
It got stunned. Thought
Wreckers in a little... Yeah, Thought Wreckers going down as Nice Condemn is able to follow up with the Killer Instinct. I don't think he checked his minimap before he started that teleport.
Dude, I don't think about it that hard, man. You can't analyze it like that, man. They're just doing what they can. I got to teleport out right now. That's all it is. And right now, the next focus is on this Rift Herald that...
Yeah, and there's a teleport in.
It's actually going to be Yale picking it up. And yeah. There was a teleport. I don't think anything's going to start off from it, though. Again, both teams are wanting to get Hyphy in, and it's a 1K gold difference right now. It's anybody's game for sure.
Yeah, this is the closest that we've had this series been, or be, at this stage, because this is where Coog have been able to play the champions that they're comfortable with. Carbonetics on this Dark Harvest Rumble has been very good at laying down these ultimates, and even before that Dragon, the ultimate went wide, but it forced a lot out of the side of Yale Esports. But on this flip side here, the victor from Bitnari this game just not working as well. Still looking for a mythic, still looking for a kill participation at this stage, and the Rumble has just gotten the better of this matchup.
Yeah, no, it's something to keep in mind. It's not exactly a ticking time bomb in the sense of you know, a Kassadin or Jinx or Kog'Maw or something like that. But when a Rumble is fed, every team fight's going to be hard. If he can actually lay down that equalizer, and even on top of that, it's such a low cooldown. You can constantly, like, it's surprising to me that they're not making more plays happen with how far ahead he is. You know, it's to be able to just section off a team fight it could be potentially be devastating, especially with this dive composition that Yale has decided to opt for. Memer sticks. No, they're trying to make picks happen, though, and it's nice to see from Coog this time around. They were struggling before, but now they're actually on the offensive this time.
And Nice Condemn was in a little bit of a precarious situation. If they walked a little bit too close to that one, they would have been in trouble. But thus far, the Barrels and Carbonetics have had great bounce back games. Thought Wrecker as well has had a really good bounce back in this one. Still down in CS, but has been doing a lot better in this side lane on the Camille. And it begs the question that maybe in these matchups, you should have just put him on another carry champion instead of putting him on the Shen. And thus far has been paying off extremely well. But Carbonetics is going to get caught on the wrong side of the map. We're going to see the wraparound eventually here as Bitnari just clearing out top side. But Carbonetics, yeah, he's going towards the wrong base, but Memersticks has shown up as well. This might be a full engagement. Who's catching out who here? That's GG is going to get engaged on the Solar Flare, going to go wide. As Turtle Wizard is way in that backline, they jump on top of Carbonetics and they start to back off. Is no one going to die in this one? The teleport is coming down as well from Bitnari's. Barrels is the first one to pick one up on to Ceratosaurus. Carbonetics staying alive for so long, and the Gnar back is going to be able to keep him alive. Jumps into that back line, but Big Skid is in the back as well, trying to clean this one up, but it's not enough. Bitnari teleports down, picks up a double kill, and Kaisa picks up a double kill as well. A great turnaround from Yale, and they've taken the gold lead right back into their favor. They're up 3,000 gold.
Wow, it wasn't a fight for like 30 seconds. It was so weird. The fights are so weird. Like, people are so indecisive where, do we want to fight? Do we not want to fight? You know, they caught out the Nautilus, which is cool. And again, they're doing a great job of, you know, actually utilizing the Everfrost to catch people out with the Predator Gragas. And Thought Wrecker, you know, able to recover at least up in this top side. You know, got a good amount of farm and solo XP up here. He is still a level down. And we'll see, you know, how much gold he's sitting on here in comparison to the Gnar, who had just finished Hysteric's Gauge, a big tanky boy already. You know, a lot of that base AD is going to make him pretty hard to answer to if they decide to send him over for a side lane split push. His teleport's almost available, and Thought Wreckers is as well. Carbonetics has his, but Bitnari is going to take a while, so they need to make sure they position these players accordingly, now having popped the Rift Herald in the mid lane, maybe getting that inner turret. But it looks like they're just going to use it for the pressure of the Dragon, maybe picking up their third of this game.
Yeah, it looks like it is the Dragon angle there. I think it was also expiring, so that's GG just saying, hey, you know what? Might as well put this down. If you get an extra 25 gold, so be it. but they do pick up the dragon, so they're able to pick up the other objective. But a long-range dredge line here landing onto the barrels. He's going to try and use that explosive cast to knock them back. He hasn't used it yet, actually, but Carbonetics turning it around to Turtle Wizard to start off this fight. It is Thoughtwrecker in the backline doing a whole bunch of damage, but Memer Sticks is taken down very low as Nice Condemn is going on a rampage. That's GG trying to run out of this one. Is not in Stormbringer until he is. He jumps into that backline. Everyone's ticking so low, and Nice Condemn starting to clean this one up. As a triple kill already, looking for the Quadra. Gonna dash in, and that's gonna be the Quadra from Nice Condemn, and that's not a Nice Condemn, that's a nice Killer Instinct. As he hops into the backline, cleans up the ace for Yale, and they're looking for a tier 2 turret.
Oh man, it was looking so good for Coog there. They were actually chasing Yale into their jungle. It was just such a devastating thing, and honestly, so much went right. The Volibear ult to turn it. I think one of the other great things to mention was the Ceratosaurus locket upon the equalizer being laid down there. Actually soaked up so much, like, great. It was like, I know it's a simple item, so many people don't utilize it the way they should, and just, you know, bam, just was able to almost negate half of the equalizer, or keeping the members of Yale alive long enough for them to be able to turn that in the end. It didn't look good at first. They end up turning it, and we're seeing the power of the Kaisa right now, you know, almost working towards that Infinity Edge as well, and huge power spike that's going to be coming in here for Nice Condemn, Nice Killer Instinct over here. Alternatively, though, Big Skip, though, is still, it actually looks like he's going to be going for the Bloodthirster second as opposed to the Collector that we've been used to seeing, unless he is potentially holding on to the Vampiric, thinking he's going to get the Bloodthirster later. But regardless, looking like the BT for the Samira if he's able to pick that up. The concerning thing is about that, though, is that I guess the only Greetus that Yale do have is the Thornmail and the Volibear. More than likely, you are going to have it applied to you. It's either not only if the Volibear immobilizes you, but if you have an ult being, you know, laying havoc on their team and one of the shots is hitting that Volibear, you're having your healing reduced. So, you know, banking on a lot for 2 sustain items. We'll see if it pays off for him, but otherwise, again, what was looking like a fairly even game is now back in Yale's favor. Having that third dragon on the board, you know, that I think that everything that started that off was that hook from Ceratosaurus. You know, it was a hook from downtown. I believe they'd be able to pick off the barrels, and sometimes that's all you need. It's why Nautilus Leona are so very strong in this meta, is that you just need some champions to make plays happen. Lock someone down, pick someone off, continue with the numbers advantage. And Yale's able to do a good job of that right now, and now it's a numbers advantage in their favor.
Yeah, Bitnari has to flash over the wall, but Memer Sticks is just on the hunt here. The Chaos Storm going to get put down as Bitnari actually going to return a lot more damage than he took. Was forced to use that flash as Big Skit was in the area. Gotta always be careful of the Samira, because even if she's 2-7, she can still turn into 200 years of game design at any point in time. But Bitnari able to stay alive, and that's important because we have not seen any big moves towards the Baron yet, but it is up and available, and at 26 minutes, a good Baron fight plus the Baron push could potentially end the game as well. So always have to keep an eye out for that, and especially keep an eye out on Nice Condemn. He is 11-2-4, sitting on 3.5 items right now. Absolutely massive, as Big Skit finally picks up that second item. It is the Bloodthirster.
You know, I don't want to stroke my own ego too much, but damn, am I good at predicting who's going to get fed in the game. Like, looking at a certain composition, yeah, of course it was going to be Nice Condemn this game, and, you know, Yale in general is doing a great job in enabling him to pick up these kills to be able to DPS to the effectiveness that he is. And even though we've got the Samira second on the Bloodthirster second on the Samira, good heavens, you know, as you mentioned, if you're not looking at her, it's kind of like a Katarina or a Yi, where if you were not actively thinking, at least in Samira's case, like, she can ult at any time and just wipe her team out. It's a bit harder with the tanks that they have. You know, it's probably one of Samira's bigger weaknesses. You know, it definitely does a lot better in the full squishy comps. But even so, like, for example, if that was a Lord Dom second on Big Skit, way more of a threat. Would actually be very horrifying for Yale to have to keep in mind, to either have the Volibear, the Gnar, or the Nautilus, like, kind of the victor, but not really. Usually the other three, you know, that's their job, is like, listen, you see an S-grade Samira, you need to stop her.
Yeah, and actually there's a good push towards it. This potential soul point actually gonna give the side of Yale a Mountain Soul opportunity, as Is it just me or did spectators lag out for a good second there? But looks like
Yeah,
they're gonna.
it's a bit weird. It's billion-dollar
Yeah,
company, man. They're still working on it.
yeah, it's a work in progress. But what is a work in progress as well is Yale's progress towards this Mountain Soul. And this time you've got all 5 members of both teams here. We might get a full-on team fight here for what seems to be the first one all game, a real 5v5 here. As
Equalizer right here.
Yeah,
this could be bad.
Gonna be massive if it comes through, but Carbonetics is zoned out for the time being. That's GG, and the barrel's walking up. The equalizer going across the back, really only onto Ceratosaurus, who might get taken down first here. Beamer6 is on the back line, though, on top of Bitnari, as Nice Condemn is still alive. A little bit of a split fight as Samira tries to spin and win, but will not be able to clean that up as Turtle Wizard takes down the barrels, as that's GG takes down Big Skid as well. Ceratosaurus is running for his life, will get taken down as Turtle Wizard has just been eating up so much time on the back line. Is a 3 for 2 for now, but you don't have the barrels up, you don't have your smite, and you have no chance at getting this Mountain Soul now.
Yeah, even though it was they were able to pick up 3 for 2, it's still easy soul for them to pick up, and with the tanky squad that they have, having an Earth Soul shield on top of that is just so hard to break through. I mean, having Demonic Embrace as well as the Void Staff on the Rumble is probably going to be your best bet for DPS. The Samira is not going to do much versus this composition right now as it stands, or at least with the current itemization. Does look like that double longsword is going to be worked on for a Last Whisper in LDR. But it might be too little too late, and right now, looking at this Baron, unless Memersticks picks off a godlike play here.
Player? Okay.
Let's see it. Let's see.
Are we gonna?
Nah,
not the smite doesn't even come down, but Kai'Sa's passive just does a little bit too much. I don't know that Memersticks knew they were on that either. So regardless, they're able to pick up that Baron.
He pinked it, so he was able to see. Like, they were able to take out that pink. I mean, yeah, come on, man. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. At least whip it, man. Just give it a shot.
Tossed over the solar flare. Who knows? Maybe it does just enough damage to take it down. But regardless, at this stage, it's going to be Yale dressed in purple once again. Up 6,000 gold with a Mountain Soul in tow. And with Elder spawning now in 4.5 minutes, it is a game-changing dragon, because the main thing about getting soul is that you should be winning the game with soul. If you can't win the game with soul, you should win it with Elder, but Elder is an objective that they can steal. And I always like to point this out. What happens if they lose Elder?
No, I mean, absolutely. There are plenty of teams that will go into certain games where they say, listen, we have such a late game scaling comp, we're not going to have priority or any sort of like control in certain parts of the map. We're just going to, give them soul, go for Elder.
Oh, that's GG, though, is going to get caught out. Actually going to use that Stormbringer extremely early in that one. Doesn't want any of the smoke and fire that comes alongside Carbonetics, so going to back off of that one. But meanwhile, top lane, you can just see Bitnari constantly putting the side lane pressure, forces 2 members up there to defend against it, as Turtle Wizard actually on the bot side gets a decent chunk out of Carbonetics. But here comes the depth charge coming down onto Big Skit. Will not get the Blade Whirl effectively, but Nice Condemns walks right into a solar flare, and if you walk too close to the sun, you get stunned. So nothing going to come out of that one, as Turtle Wizard on the bot side just doing Narthings, split pushing.
Yeah, no, he definitely has that option. Even though Thoughtwrecker does have the Divine Sunder or even a Stairs Gauge on top of it, I do not think they have any tool to be able to match this car right now, and a play might be happening here.
Ceratosaurus is in the middle of the fight, gets Everfrosted up, but That's GG is now in the middle of the fight. Equalizer gonna land only onto That's GG, as Turtle Wizard has shown up, but he has absolutely no rage. That's GG gonna go on a killing spree and stays alive forever. That's a double kill already coming through, as Nice Condemn is able to pick up one and snipe one down. Condemns him to the death realm, so to speak, with that long range Void Seeker. And with 4 deaths on the board and the client freezing once again, we might have our answers to how this game ends up, because Yale is looking to end this one off of this push.
Yeah, more than likely, it's usually the forfeit spectator bug, leading us to believe that Yale has won Game 3 versus Coog Esports, 27-21 in a nearly 32-minute game. Not quite 10k gold up as the past 2 games, but pretty darn close. And another dominating victory, a whole dominating series, rather, from Yale over Coog Esports. And it was definitely something like the result, not... It's hard to imagine a 3-0 in a semifinal, but here we are.
We got our questions answered from the get-go. We were expecting a very competitive series. And in game 3, we got that competition coming through, flowing through the veins of Coog Esports. But unfortunately, it was just a little bit too little too late. Honestly, if they brought that in game 1 and 2, we might be still sitting here going to a game 4, going to a game 5 even. But regardless, Yale played that series exceptionally well, and they're going to be rewarded with moving on to the UGL finals, which happen next week. So yes, just a great series overall. But as for us here, that's going to wrap it up for this broadcast. The Yale just cleaning it up nice and quick and easy. Everyone gets a little bit of an earlier bedtime, but honestly, thank you to everyone here at to all the fans out there watching us, to everyone here at Upsurge as well for helping out with the broadcast. Big shout out to Dom, our producer and spectator for tonight. And a big shout out as well to Listia for being my co-caster here. But as for me, Half Asian Dad, that's going to be it for tonight's broadcast. We're going to see you next week when we get into the finals of UGL, where Yale awaits their opponent. And we will see you next week. So long, friends.